Chapter 19. Lu Chin, hello. A warm greeting came from the receiver of the phone. Long time no see, how have you been recently? Lu Chen's memory was instantly activated, and a familiar face appeared in his mind. He immediately smiled and asked, hello, class monitor Chow, why did you suddenly think of calling me? Did you miss me? A clear laughter came from the other side. The person who called Lu Chin was his class monitor in Jianghai University's computer science class, Chao Shuzhu. In the university, there have always been fewer girls than boys in the computer science department. Chao Shuzhu has been the class monitor for 4 years. Although her appearance is ordinary, she is warm and generous, so her relationship with her classmates is very good. In addition to the good relationship between Lu Chin and this class monitor Chao, there is another layer of origin, that is, Lu Chen's ex-girlfriend was introduced by Chao Shuzhu, and the two broke up made her feel guilty for a long time. Bah! 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 Chao Shuzhu said, my boyfriend is next to me. He wants me to say hello to you and ask when you will be back. Speaking of which, you haven't appeared in the group recently. Are you still in Beijing? Chao Shuzhu's boyfriend is also Lu Chen's classmate. He lives in the dormitory next to him and often plays basketball together. I am still in Beijing, and I have been quietly lurking in the group, Lu Chen said. I don't dare to speak after seeing you show your affection every day. I will be back at the beginning of next month. Lu Chen will graduate next month. He has saved enough credits to go back to get a diploma and attend the graduation ceremony. Lu Chen, you have learned to be talkative in Beijing. Chao Shuzhu said bitterly, now this class monitor will assign you an important task. On the 9th of June, you will prepare a program to represent our class and win an award. Let me prepare a program for the graduation party. Lu Chen was stunned. There are so many people in the class. Why is it my turn again? He has performed on stage on behalf of the class not once or twice, but the university graduation party is really different from before. This was the only time in one's life. Chao Shuzhu replied helplessly, you know, they're all heroes when they're playing games, but they're all cowards when they're performing on stage, so I'll have to trouble you. Besides, they all said that you, Lu Chin, can sing and play the guitar, and you're also very handsome. Who else would go if not you? This has become my crime. Lu Chin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He thought about it and said, all right then. I will definitely listen to your orders, but I also have a small condition. Chao Shuzhu asked curiously, what conditions? Lu Chin said, last year, the students of our cohort went out for a gathering, and the student council took a lot of photos. I need all the girls' photos, no matter if it's solo or group photos. What? Chao Shuzhu became vigilant and asked aggressively, what are you planning? She was the secretary of Jianghai Student Union, so it was not a problem for her to get the photo, but Lu Chen's motive was very suspicious. Lu Chen smiled and said, class rep, you said that I must get the award, so I have to prepare well, right? I need these photos to make a music video. When the time comes, I'll play it on the stage in the auditorium, so that the effect of the performance will be better. So it's like this, your idea is not bad. Chao Shuzhu said embarrassedly, then I'll go to the office later and pack it up and send it to you. She had a big personality, and didn't have many schemes, so she didn't think too much. Okay, the two chatted for a while, then hung up the phone. Lu Chen left his dwelling and went out to eat a good meal. He stuffed his stomach full before coming back. In the afternoon, he continued to work, and in total, he sorted out 20 complete songs. This efficiency was very high, but these songs were the ones that Lu Chen was most familiar with, so it was easy to rewrite them. The later ones would probably be more and more difficult, and it would take a lot of time. Currently, for him, 20 excellent works were more than enough. He wouldn't throw them all out at once, but he would find a way to discover the value of each song. This way, he wouldn't let down these popular classics from his dream world. Out of the 20 songs, 5 were sent by Lu Qin to the Greater China Music Library for copyright registration. It wasn't that he didn't want to register all of them, but it was because he couldn't afford to waste the small amount of money in IFU. The registration fee for a song's copyright was $600, so 5 songs would cost him $3,000. If it wasn't because Lu Qin earned 2 sums yesterday, he probably wouldn't be able to pay it. He secretly cursed the Greater China Music Library for feeding dogs, while opening the Starlight Show, preparing to exchange the money in his account for emergencies. But when he opened the online Anchor platform, an eye-catching notification popped up. "Hello, Anchor Lu Fei, you have reached the contract signing requirements. Please click to contact the administrator. Thank you for your cooperation." What? Lu Qin was surprised and overjoyed. At this time, he noticed that his followers had reached 10,142. The contract signing requirement for the Starlight Show was 10,000 followers. When the live broadcast ended last night, Lu Qin's followers were only 7,000 plus, but now it had reached 10,000 plus. But this time, Lu Qin wasn't too surprised, because he knew that the increase in followers must have come from the efforts of Lu Jiejun, led by Prophet Emperor Li Bai, which allowed him to reach the contract signing requirements in advance. Feeling touched and excited, Lu Qin clicked on the administrator in the notification box and immediately opened the chat interface. The chat ID displayed on the chat panel was Super Administrator 002. Lu Qin, hello, Administrator. Super Administrator 002, hello, is this a contract signing? Lu Qin, yes, how do I do it? Super Administrator 002, I will send you the electronic contract first, you can confirm it first. Super Administrator 002, if there are no problems, then you can print the signature according to the requirements and send it to our company. Lu Qin, okay. Super Administrator 002 sent a document to Lu Qin, and Lu Qin opened it after receiving it. Counting it, this was the 3rd contract he had seen in the past few days. Then, as he looked at it, his heart turned cold. Other than the terms related to the anchor, at least 70% of the content was the same as the new artist contract Su Qingmei had given him. It gave him the feeling that it was completely based on the model of a new artist contract, such as creative copyright, portrait copyright, breach of contract liability, and the only difference was that the term of the contract had been changed from 10 years to 5 years. All the crows in the world were black. Lu Qin couldn't help but smile bitterly. Originally, he had hoped to be able to officially sign a contract with the Starlight Show, so that he could get a higher share and recommendation opportunities. He didn't ask for a monthly income of millions, but he would be satisfied as long as he could live comfortably. Now, it seemed that he was too naive. Super Administrator 002, have you finished reading the contract? If you have, hurry up and confirm it. I need to put it on record. Lu Qin thought for a moment and replied, can this contract be modified? The main issue is the creative copyright. If the other party agreed to modify the copyright requirements, then even if the other terms were harsh, Lu Qin could still accept it. After all, the Starlight Show was a profitable platform, and it was understandable to pursue profits. Super Administrator 002, modify. You're thinking too much. All the anchors on our platform have the same contract. It's impossible to modify it just for you. You either choose to sign it or not, it's that simple. The incomparably domineering tone was still a flavor that Lu Qin was familiar with. All anchors have the same contract. That was simply the biggest joke in the world. Would the contract of a popular star and an unknown artist be the same? Even if you used your toes to think, you would know that it was impossible. This Super Administrator 002's attitude was tough and cold, and he even treated Lu Qin as a rookie that could be easily deceived. Lu Qin suppressed his anger and replied, then I'll think about it again. I won't sign it for now, thank you. He had no other choice. Lu Chen also did not want to fall out with the super administrator. After all, he still had to rely on the other party's platform to make money, so he politely declined. Anyway, if he did not sign the contract, he would only get less commission and no website recommendation. No matter what, he would not give away the copyright of his original work for nothing. Super Administrator 002, whatever. The conversation between the two parties ended immediately. Lu Chen helplessly shook his head. He was more or less a little depressed in his heart. The next moment, the notification that popped up on the computer screen instantly made his heart as cold as ice, and he almost exploded in anger. System notification: Lu Fei's live broadcast is temporarily closed due to violation of the rules. If you have any questions, please consult the administrator. Banned. Chapter 20. System prompt: Lu Fei's live broadcast room is temporarily closed due to violation of regulations. If you have any questions, please consult the administrator. Not to mention Lu Chen, as long as any ordinary person with a normal IQ saw this shocking system prompt, they would not be naive enough to think that they had really violated any rules, which led to the closure of the live broadcast room. He refused to sign the contract, so he was directly banned by Super Administrator 002. Was it domineering? It was domineering. At that time, Lu Chen felt a rush of hot blood to his brain. He gripped the mouse in his hand tightly and used a lot of willpower not to smash the mouse. Because smashing things in anger was a sign of incompetence. He took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. Starlight Show was the leader among the domestic live broadcast platforms. Whether it was the number of users or the influence, it surpassed several established platforms. Especially in the entertainment and performing arts aspect, its strength was second to none. Therefore, it naturally had the qualifications to be unreasonable. It was easy to ban a small anchor. Want to make money from me? Then you have to obey my rules. This system prompt was also clearly telling Lu Chen, those who follow me will prosper, those who resist me will die. It was that simple. Lu Chen had no choice. If he did not bow down, then his career as a Starlight Show anchor would be destroyed and an important source of income would be cut off. Should he bow down to the other party and obediently sign this harsh contract? Lu Chen first opened a small software on his computer. After selecting the full screen record, he clicked on the administrator in the system prompt. A chat window popped up again. The chat ID was still Super Administrator 002. Super Administrator 002, what do you need help with? Even through the computer and the network, Lu Chen could feel the other party's proud mood at this moment. He calmed down and replied, I first want to ask why my live broadcast room was closed. Super Administrator 002, because you violated the regulations. Lu Chen, may I ask which regulation is it that if I don't sign an unreasonable contract, I will be banned? Super Administrator 002, you can understand it that way. This is our company's regulation. Super Administrator 002, think carefully, it's not too late to regret. Lu Chen, I've thought it through very clearly now. Super Administrator 002, go ahead. Lu Chen, go to hell. Super Administrator 002, what? Lu Chen said, I say, go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. Of course, important things had to be repeated 3 times. After typing send, Lu Chen directly closed the dialog box. Don't give the other party a chance to respond, let that guy hold it in. Lu Chen's thoughts cleared up in an instant, and the gloominess in his heart vanished without a trace. Anyone who often plays computers can tell that this is the sound of the mouse being slammed hard on the table. Many people have had such an experience. The equipment dropped by the boss was robbed, smashed the mouse. The software crash caused the document to be lost, smashed the mouse. It took half a day to download the ultra-high-definition Love action movie, only to find that it was Calabash Brothers, smashed the mouse. He logged on to the family online and wanted to observe his baby through the smart camera, but he saw old Wong next door, smashed the mouse. Behind a desk, a white-faced man carefully poked his head out and asked, "Boss, what's wrong?" The object of his inquiry was a middle-aged man in his 40s, with a thin face, small eyes, and an aquiline nose. His expression was gloomy as if he had just found old Wong next door, and the mouse in his hand was already dead. This middle-aged man is Xiao Depeng, the manager of Starlight Media's Operation Management Department. Because Starlight Media implements an open office, even the manager does not have an independent office and sits in the same area as the employees. As the manager of the Operation Management Department, in addition to dealing with the relevant affairs of the department, Xiao Depeng often logs on to Starlight's show as a super administrator and does some ordinary management work. His ID is Super Administrator 002. As for 001, that is the ID of the boss, which will not appear under normal circumstances. For the white-faced man's inquiry, Xiao Depeng replied angrily, "A small anchor, I gave him face but he didn't want it. I helped him sign the contract and he still talked nonsense. I told him to wake up and he even dared to scold me." What? The white-faced man was immediately filled with righteous indignation and shouted, "Newcomers nowadays are too unruly. What's his ID? Let me ban him and see if he can still be arrogant." Xiao Depeng waved his hand and said, "ID Lu Fei, the land of the mainland, the flight of the plane, has been banned by me. Later, I will send his information to everyone. If you find him restarting the live broadcast with a sock puppet, kill him without mercy." The manager of the Operation Management Department had a murderous look on his face, and his tone of voice carried a taste of gnashing his teeth. Just now, he was really angry. Which small anchor didn't get the signing qualification of Starlight's show and then be respectful to the super administrator who has the power of life and death? An unruly and rebellious fellow like Lu Fei should be banned to the end. The pale-faced man answered without hesitation, "Okay. Lu Fei." At this time, a head suddenly popped out from the next desk. It was a man with glasses. Is it that Lu Fei who can play and sing and has original songs? I think I saw his video on Star Circle. The man with glasses actually wanted to say that Lu Fei's songs were very good and had the potential to be a big hit on the platform. However, seeing Xiao Depeng's ugly expression, his limited EQ finally came into play and he didn't say everything in his heart. So what if it's an original? Xiao Depeng snorted and said disdainfully, "There are thousands of singers who do live broadcasts on our platform, and there are many who can create original songs. What we need is real talent, not those newcomers who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." The white-faced man nodded in agreement. Manager is right. Xiao Depeng was satisfied. He glanced at the man with glasses and said, "Shaoli, although you are an old employee, there are some things that you still have to learn from Xiao Wang. Don't just stare at the computer all day." The man with glasses was speechless, and the white-faced man was secretly proud, but his face showed a humble expression. "Okay, I'll leave first." Xiao Depeng got up and said, "Xiao Wang, come and send that Lu Fei's information to everyone, and then delete all the relevant content on the forum." The white-faced man hurriedly ran over. "Yes, manager, I promise to complete the task." Xiao Depeng patted his butt and quickly left, and the white-faced man quickly operated in his position. The man with glasses secretly sighed and sat down again. Before Chinhong Entertainment's investment, although Starlight Media was very small, it was very humane. Many of the super administrators and anchors were friends, and they were also willing to support new anchors. Now the company was much larger and very rich, but some things no longer existed. Before the white-faced man could delete the relevant content on the forum, he secretly used his administrator identity to copy a complete copy of Lu Jiajun's Star Circle's information and uploaded it to his network cloud disk. Lu Fei's You Who Sat Next to Me and Cinderella were all songs that he liked to listen to. They were also good songs that moved him and were worth keeping. Chapter 21. Lu Fei de, is this for real? Are you kidding me? His account was banned. What the heck? Hee, it's just a big shop bullying its customers. Starlight Show has always been like this. Then what should we do? Are we going to disband the newly created Star Circle and group? I feel like crying. This is too overbearing. Banning accounts without signing the contract. This is too much. Let's all think of a solution. When Lu Chen told everyone in Lu Jiajun's QQ chat group that his account was banned because of signing the contract, the small chat group exploded. All the fans who were online appeared, all of them filled with righteous indignation. Some criticized the Starlight Show's overbearing behavior, some felt sorry for Lu Chen's new achievements, and some expressed that they would not let this matter rest. Prophet Emperor Li Bai, there's no need to say any more. If you support General Lu, let's all go to the forum to protest. Blow this matter up and the higher-ups of Starlight Show will take this seriously. Let them understand that even a small host is not someone they can bully. Li Bai appeared a little late, but once he spoke, the whole group seemed to have found their backbone. Everyone agreed with his suggestion and prepared to go to the forum to protest. Lu Chen was grateful. Thank you everyone for your support. It's just that I don't want to stay on Starlight Show any longer. There's no need to trouble everyone to argue with the officials. At most, I'll just change to another platform. These fans were very passionate and sincere. Lu Chen did not want to use them to fight for his rights. Prophet Emperor Li Bai said, General Lu, this matter is not just about you. It's also about us. Even if we leave, we have to leave with a bang. We can't let others bully us for nothing. That's right. Emperor Li is mighty. I support General Lu and you. Go 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 go. Don't say anything else. I'm already starting to post. Everyone, keep up. Alright, let's plant the flag of our Lu Jiajun on the Star Circle. Even though he had experienced 3 lives in the dream world, Lu Chen was still a hot-blooded young man. He could not help but be infected by the enthusiasm of the crowd. Then let's do it together. I've recorded my conversation with the super admin and saved it in the group. You can attach it as evidence when you post. When he was talking to Super Administrator 002, he was more careful and opened the screen recorder software to save the chat records between them. Alright. It's best if you have evidence. I've downloaded it. Fill up the ammo and set off. Star Ring Expedition. I see it. Holy **T, it's Super Administrator 002. This number should be a mini-boss. Who cares if it's a big boss or a small boss? We'll talk after we kill it. Brothers, I'll be leaving first. Kill, kill, kill. Although this newly established fan group didn't have many members yet, the group members showed great unity and seemed to have a lot of fighting spirit. Unfortunately, their opponents were too strong and unreasonable. The members of the group logged onto the website and quickly realized that the Star Circle that had just been established yesterday no longer existed. When they went to the public forum to protest, the moment they made a post, it was deleted. The speed at which the forum's administrator dealt with it was shocking. Not only did they delete the post, but the ID of the poster was also banned or even banned, not giving them any chance to defend themselves. If this was a battle, it would definitely be a battle with a huge disparity in strength. The members of Lu Jiajun were like mantises trying to stop the wheels of a car and were crushed into pieces in the blink of an eye. Everyone was very angry about this, but there was no way they could fight back. F***CK. Our star circle has been disbanded. 5:55 The post I just made was deleted, and my account was banned. Me too, the forum's administrator is watching over it. They probably set up a keyword and found out the moment I made a post. The old posts have all been deleted. They're really fast and ruthless. Hehe, it's the same for everyone, Prophet Emperor Levi said. I've also been banned. They didn't even give us a chance to speak. Facing the extremely powerful website administrator, this nouveau riche was also very helpless and could only curse angrily, F***CK. If I spend a cent on that place again, I'll change my surname to theirs. Lu Qin said, everyone, stop for a while. Let's think of something else. He didn't want to pour cold water on the fans, nor did he want to see them hit the wall. It didn't feel good, but the weak could not win against the strong. What could they do? The originally lively atmosphere in the group suddenly became gloomy and gloomy. Many people sighed. It had already come to this, what else was there to think of? Forget it, let's go to another website. I will always support General Lu. Someone suggested. I believe in General Lu's strength. Our Lu Jiajun will not admit defeat. Yes, yes. We will never admit defeat. Just like General Big Lu said, screw the Starlight Show. Let's screw it together. Lu Qin looked at the chat on the screen and couldn't help but feel a trace of warmth in his heart. At this time, a member with the ID, Coral Fish, said, Lu Feida, I'm an administrator of Whale TV. I would like to invite you to be an anchor on our Whale TV. How about it? The chat group exploded with activity. F***CK, an administrator of Whale TV. Is this for real? Don't joke around. I didn't expect our General Lu to be so famous that even Whale TV knows about him. If it's true, then we can go to Whale TV too. I didn't expect 007 to be hiding in our group. Everyone stop arguing. Let's see what General Big Lu has to say. Coral Fish didn't say anything. She just posted a screenshot of Whale TV's management backend. This screenshot strongly proved his identity. Prophet Emperor Master Levi sent a private message to Lu Qin, General Lu, do you want to try Whale TV? During this period of time, Lu Qin had crammed a lot of information about live broadcasting. He knew that Whale TV was one of the earliest live broadcasting platforms in the country. It had always focused on live broadcasting of games and occupied a large share of the three most popular online games, CKG, Hero City State, and Star Overlord. However, the old Whale TV had recently faced fierce competition from Sky Live and Starlight Show. Many popular anchors had been poached and their popularity was no longer what it used to be. Of course, a skinny camel was still bigger than a horse. Speaking of Whale TV, it was still a well-known name on the internet. Whale TV was naturally unwilling to decline. On one hand, it increased its investment in new areas. On the other hand, it kept a close eye on its competitors. Therefore, it wasn't strange for an administrator to appear in Lu Chen's group. A newbie anchor who had yet to sign a contract but possessed strength was exactly what they were trying to recruit. Water flowed downwards and people walked upwards. Was it the right choice for Lu Qin to join Whale TV? Prophet Emperor Master Levi also expressed his concerns. Lu Qin thought for a moment and replied in the group chat, I can go to Whale TV, but if I have to sign a contract, then I can't agree to such a harsh contract. This was the bottom line that he had to stick to. He didn't want to repeat the mistakes of Starlight Show. Coral Fish replied, Lu Feida, I saw what happened to you at Starlight Show. Our Whale TV won't be that harsh. It's just that my authority isn't high. Please let me discuss the specific terms of the contract with the head of the operations department before replying to you. How about that? In addition, I can make the decision that all members of Lu Jiajun can have the same rank as Starlight's show at Whale TV because I am also a member of Lu Jiajun. Finally, he attached a smiley face emoticon. The membership levels of online broadcasting platforms were basically the same. Other than ordinary members, they were mainly divided into diamond, gold, silver, black iron, and bronze. These 5 levels were further divided into 1, 2, 3, 4. Promotion depended on points, and the most important source of points was paid rewards. For example, Prophet Emperor Masterly Bai was a Gold 2 member. He had spent at least 200,000 on Starlight's show and could be considered a small nouveau riche. Under normal circumstances, transferring to another broadcasting platform would require one to accumulate points again. However, in order to attract customers, some broadcasting platforms would promise to give members of the same rank. Chapter 22. Deep Sea City, High-Tech Park, Building B3, 15th floor, Whale Technology Company Headquarters. Whale Technology Company, Limited was established in 2007 as a localized network technology company. It mainly operated online games, videos, animations, and other projects. In June 2012, it officially launched Whale TV, becoming one of the first domestic online live broadcasting platforms. At that time, online live broadcasting was still in a pioneering state. With the strong support of Whale Technology, Whale TV developed rapidly, especially in the aspect of game broadcasting. With the help of the 3 popular games CKG, Hero City State, and Planet Overlord, it quickly occupied more than 70% of the market share and cultivated a large number of excellent anchors. However, as the cake of online live broadcasting grew bigger and bigger, more and more big shots in the industry had their eyes on this fat piece of meat. Whale TV encountered fierce competition. Many popular anchors were poached with high salaries, and their popularity continued to decline. Under such circumstances, the executives of Whale TV still clung to game broadcasting and ignored the importance of entertainment and lifestyle live broadcasting programs. This caused the market share to continue to decline, and it was even jokingly called Salted Fish TV. Of course, Whale TV was unwilling to be treated as a salted fish by others. Therefore, the higher-ups learned from the painful experience and replaced a group of incompetent middle and lower management personnel. They worked hard to compete with StarLive, SkyLive, and other competitors for resources. Finally, they barely managed to reverse the decline. Whale TV's revenue accounted for more than 65% of Whale Technology's revenue. Therefore, the website branch and headquarters were all located on the same floor, with more than 100 employees. Although it was close to evening and almost afternoon, the dozens of employees in the operations management department were still busy in front of the computer. No one got up to stretch or drink water. The atmosphere was tense but orderly. Yes. Suddenly, a woman in a white professional dress jumped up from her seat. She raised her clenched fist high and waved it with force, looking very excited and agitated. A young colleague next to her noticed and asked curiously, "Sister Shanshan, what good thing happened to you?" The OL named Shanshan replied with a smile, "I dug up a new anchor with great potential." Her voice was very loud. After more colleagues heard it, they all started to ask questions one after another. "Congratulations, Shanshan. Where did you find him from? What's his name? Does he really have great potential? There are a lot of newcomers nowadays. Don't just look at the data on the surface. What type? Game? Become a singer? A lifestyle show? Shanshan's treating." Shan smiled and said, "It's not a problem for me to treat you. I'll report to the supervisor first. I'll let you know after we sign the contract." She quickly ran to the innermost part of the transport management department. It was the office of Wu Hongming, the operations director of Whale TV. When Shanshan rushed in like a whirlwind, this super administrator boss was still engrossed in the work report in his hands. Boss. Shanshan's excited voice made Wu Hongming put down the document in his hand. He helplessly pinched his brows and reprimanded, Wu Shanshan, how old are you? Why are you still acting like a child? How impatient. Wu Shanshan's surname was Wu, and so was his. The two of them were relatives. Because of this, Wu Hongming was even stricter with Wu Shanshan to prevent others from accusing him of nepotism. It has been 3 years since Wu Shanshan graduated from university. She hasn't been at Whale TV for long. Her lively and jumpy personality gave Wu Hongming a headache, and he often had to teach her a lesson or two. However, there was basically no effect. Moreover, Wu Shanshan was very popular among her colleagues. Faced with her uncle's scolding, Wu Shanshan quickly stuck out her tongue and obediently said, Boss, I dug up a new anchor who has the potential to be very popular. I want to discuss the contract now. Relatives were relatives, but they had to distinguish between public and private matters. Therefore, in the company, she addressed Wu Hongming the same way as other colleagues. She called him boss, boss. Wu Hongming was one of the founders of Whale TV, and a senior figure in Whale Technology. You shouted so loudly just now. I'm not deaf. The senior said in a bad mood, is this one reliable? Don't be like the last one. Wu Shanshan's face couldn't help but turn red when Wu Hongming mentioned her embarrassing past. Last time, she also dug up a new anchor. In the end, she made a mistake. The other party was a fake. Fortunately, Wu Hongming was strict and found out the problem. In the end, it didn't cause any loss to the company. As a veteran live broadcasting platform, Whale TV was facing huge pressure in business. However, they were still very cautious when it came to poaching people. They always maintained a style that would rather have nothing than be substandard. She tried hard to explain, boss, this anchor is really good. He was banned by Starlight's show because of a contract problem. If I didn't happen to be in his fan group, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to dig him up. Starlight show. Contract problem. Wu Hongming's brows furrowed into a chuan character. He said, let me see his information. Of course, it was a good thing to be able to poach people from their old rival, Starlight show. However, the premise was that the person must be reliable. If it was an unruly or greedy short-sighted person, Wu Hongming wouldn't want him even if he was talented. Wu Shanshan quickly said, I've already saved it in the folder. You'll know when you open it. Wu Hongming nodded. He directly accessed the shared folder on Wu Shanshan's computer through the local area network. This was the authority that he had as a supervisor. Others couldn't do it. Wu Shanshan had been eyeing Lu Chen for a long time, so she was well prepared, including Lu Chen's number of followers in Starlight show, popularity, the total amount of gifts, Star Circle fans, QQ group, and other information. The most important thing was that there were 2 live video recordings. At the beginning, Wu Hongming frowned again when he saw Lu Chen's basic information. Because Lu Chen's data was very little, and he had only started live broadcasting for 2 or 3 days, the number of followers had increased rapidly. However, this kind of data was too easy to fake and couldn't be used seriously. As for the popularity, gift value, fans, and so on, Wu Hongming couldn't see how much potential he had. Such a pure newbie anchor, would he be banned by Starlight show because of a contract problem? He suspected that his niece was muddle-headed again. With a responsible attitude, Wu Hongming clicked to open a live video. I'm going to present you with an original song. It's called You Who Sat Next to Me. I hope everyone likes it. Lu Chen's voice instantly came clearly from the computer speakers. Original song. Wu Hongming's eyes lit up, and he suddenly became interested. He turned up the volume of the speakers in the computer. Tomorrow, will you remember the diary you wrote yesterday? Tomorrow, will you still remember the you who loved to cry the most? The teachers can't remember when the melody of You Who Sat Next to Me, accompanied by Lu Chen's clear and slightly sentimental voice, came out through the high-quality speakers. The entire operation management office suddenly quieted down. The clicking sound of the mouse disappeared, and the tapping sound of the keyboard disappeared. The song seemed to have a magical power, and people couldn't help but be attracted to it. They listened and felt, and were brought into the past. Most of the employees in the operation management department were very young, and their memories of middle school, high school, and university were still very clear. Therefore, they instinctively resonated with this song, even if it was only the first time they heard it. Listening to the song, those beautiful, nostalgic feelings arose in their hearts, and they all forgot about their work. The song ended, and there was silence. Wu Hongming closed the video. Wu Shanshan was anxious. Boss, there's more, continue watching. This song is enough. Wu Hongming's tightly knitted eyebrows relaxed, and he asked, are you sure this is, this Lu Fei's original work? Do you know the specific clause in the contract between him and Starlight's show that caused him to be banned? Just one original work alone might not be enough to make Wu Hongming make up his mind. However, not only was Lu Chen's playing and singing quality extremely high, but his appearance was also very good. He had talent, and ability, and he really had the potential to become famous. He dared to say that Starlight's show had missed a new star. Chapter 23. Wu Hongming's vision is famous for being accurate. When he first founded Whale TV, he personally discovered many outstanding anchors. Now that the company's situation is not good, he came out again to serve as the head of the operation management department. Wu Hongming looked at Lu Chen, who was playing and singing You Who Sat Next to Me, and saw a newcomer with infinite potential. He was surprised that Starlight's show missed it. Wu Shanshan pointed to the screen and said, this is the chat record of the fan group. You will know after you see it. Wu Hongming opened the text and read it carefully. After reading it, he understood. With a touch of ridicule on his face, he said, Starlight shows Super Administrator 002. I know, it should be Zhao Depaying. If it is really him, then it is normal. He and Zhao Depaying not only knew each other, but were also friends. The grievances between the two could not be finished for several days and nights. Wu Hongming was well aware of Zhao Depaying's temperament. He no longer had any doubts and said to Wu Shanshan, you did a good job. This Lu Fei is worth signing. I think he wants to keep the original copyright, so give it to him. After a pause, Wu Hongming added, the signing fee is within 50,000 yuan. You can talk to him. Talents are rare. Originally, Wu Hongming wanted to talk to Lu Chen personally, but he thought that it was not appropriate to be too eager. Maybe it would make Lu Chen have other ideas, so he let Wu Shanshan sign the contract. This is also an opportunity and reward for Wu Shanshan. If Lu Chen becomes popular in the future, her contribution will not go unnoticed. Me? Wu Shanshan was surprised and happy. Boss, you really want me to talk to him about signing the contract? She just joined Whale TV not long ago and belongs to a new employee with no qualifications. Her current job is to go to major live broadcasting platforms to find newcomers. It is equivalent to poaching talent scouts and has no right to talk about contracts. Now, Wu Hongming has delegated this power to her. Wu Hongming said with a smile, if I tell you to go, then go. Talk to him properly and agree to any reasonable request. For example, you promise to give his fans the same treatment. I agree. Wu Shanshan smiled sheepishly. She had wanted to keep Lu Jiejun here, so she had made an empty promise. She was a little rash, but Wu Hongming had no intention of criticizing her. The operations manager waved his hand and said, don't laugh like an idiot. Go. Wu Shanshan hurriedly ran back to her desk, sat down, and couldn't wait to open the QQ group. She clicked on Lu Chen's ID and opened the private chat interface. At this moment, Lu Chen was still chatting with the members in the group, talking about some trivial matters related to him. There weren't many people in Lu Jiejun's QQ group, but they were all very enthusiastic and sincere. Although he had just experienced a setback, their support and encouragement made Lu Chen not the slightest bit discouraged and disappointed. With such a group of cute fans, it wouldn't be a big deal to start over on another platform. Coral Fish sent him a private message. Big General Lu, is it convenient for us to chat? Lu Chen replied, no problem. Coral Fish sent a smiley face and said, I want to ask, does Big General Lu have any specific requirements for signing a contract with Whale TV? Our basic contract is basically the same as Starlight shows, but we can provide different contract terms for different signing targets. Lu Chen couldn't help but nod his head. Just this attitude alone was enough to shake off Starlight show's super administrator by 3 streets. He thought back to the contract he had read and made 2 suggestions. First was the issue of original copyrights. Lu Chen wouldn't give up any of his rights for all the original songs that were performed on the live broadcast platform. If the platform needed it, they could negotiate and purchase it. Second was the time limit of the contract. 5 years was too long, so he hoped to change it to 2 years. In the future, when the time limit was up, under the same conditions, he could have priority to renew the contract with Whale TV. Lu Chen's requirements weren't actually very high. He didn't have any opinion on the sharing ratio or the website's recommendation because he was very clear that he was still a newcomer and didn't have the qualifications to demand an exorbitant price. As for Coral Fish, or Wu Shanshan, she didn't expect Lu Chen's requirements to be so low. She was prepared to have a friendly and intense negotiation with Lu Chen. Both parties would bargain back and forth for dozens of rounds before finally reaching a win-win contract that satisfied everyone. However, the reality was so cruel. Coral Fish, just these 2. Lu Chen, yes. Wu Shanshan suddenly had the urge to rush into the computer, crawl along the network cable to Lu Chen's side, grab his collar, and loudly say to him, "You make me feel no sense of accomplishment like this." Fortunately, she was still rational and hurriedly added, "Then how about the signing fee of 50,000? Signing fee? Lu Chen was stunned. He didn't think that he could get a signing fee by signing with Whale TV. Even if he hadn't eaten pork, he would have seen pigs run. Lu Chen knew about the signing fee for anchors changing jobs. He had crammed in a lot of common knowledge on the internet, but he never thought that he could earn a signing fee. Currently, in the circle of online anchors, when the most popular anchor, Yo-Yo, changed jobs to Sky Live, he once set a sky-high signing fee of 10 million, which caused a huge sensation at the time. Although many people said that 10 million was a hype and not the real signing price, it was an indisputable fact that the signing fee for popular anchors was getting higher and higher. It was easily hundreds of thousands to millions, and there were even examples of several million. As for Lu Chen, he was just a newbie anchor with 2 live broadcasts. Being able to negotiate a contract with the platform was already giving him preferential treatment, but they even gave him a signing fee. He felt that Whale TV was too kind. Lu Chen, no problem, thank you. Actually, the exchange between Lu Chen and Wu Shanshan fully exposed the nature of the 2 rookies. Lu Chen didn't mention the signing fee at all. If Wu Shanshan had some experience, she would naturally not mention it. Signing the contract and saving the signing fee, the boss would definitely praise her. Lu Chen was even more inexperienced. The other party had already mentioned the signing fee, so he could just take the opportunity to bargain. Regardless of whether it would work or not, there was no harm in trying. Why not? But at this time, the 2 of them didn't think too much. Coral Fish, ********, then it's decided. I'll let boss revise the new contract. I'll first open a signing account and a live broadcast room for you. When the contract arrives, I'll transfer the signing fee to your account. How about that? Lu Qin, okay. When he hit the enter key, he still couldn't believe it. He signed the contract just like that. He earned 50,000. After composing himself, Lu Qin said in the group chat, "Brothers, I've already reached an agreement with Whale TV. Tonight, I'll start a live broadcast on Whale TV. Everyone is welcome to come and support me." Lu Qin said it a little early because the contract hadn't been officially confirmed. But he was really excited and couldn't wait to share this good news with everyone. The moment the message sent by Lu Qin appeared, the group chat exploded. "That's great, hooray. General Lu is mighty. Screw the Starlight Show. I'm switching to Whale TV. Lu Feida, what's the name of the new live broadcast room? I'll add it now and pull in my friends. It hasn't started yet, right? The one in charge of signing the contract is that coral fish, right? Are you there?" I'm here. Coral Fish appeared just in time and said with a big smile, "I'll immediately open an account and live broadcast room for Big General Lu. I'll inform everyone as soon as possible. I guarantee there won't be any delays. Also, everyone is welcome to send me a screenshot of your Starlight Show and Whale TV account information. I'll adjust everyone's level. If you don't have a Whale TV account, you can create one yourself." Prophet Emperor Libai said, "I don't need to adjust. I'll go to Whale TV to top up now. It's just a gold member." A tycoon was a tycoon. His words were domineering, causing the group to be flooded with worshippers begging for his support. Wu Shanshan was overjoyed and felt a great sense of accomplishment. She finally forgot about her official business and got up to report to Wu Hongming to finalize the contract immediately. This time, she really caught a big fish. Sister Shanshan, just as she got up from her chair, a colleague sitting next to her suddenly leaned over and whispered, "Can you send me a copy of this anchor's video? I'm his fish fan." Wu Shanshan blinked her eyes, and her eyebrows curved as she smiled. Chapter 24. The curtain of night quietly fell on Beijing, the largest city in the north. The lights lit up. At first, they were like stars, but in a short period of time, they formed a brilliant light belt. The spacious road was filled with an endless stream of vehicles. People rushed back to their homes after work, and the busy cycle repeated itself. In the basement of Jingming Community Building 7, Lu Qin swallowed the last mouthful of egg fried rice and pressed on his phone again. Thank God, this time it finally connected. Chen Jinhao's voice came from the phone, "Xiao Lu. My phone ran out of battery just now. What's the matter?" Lu Qin quickly wiped the rice droplets hanging on the corner of his mouth and said, "Boss, I have something to do tonight, so I want to ask for leave." "Can I ask for leave?" Chen Jinhao was obviously stunned and immediately said, "It's not a problem to ask for leave." "Is it urgent?" "A little." Lu Qin was sensitive. "Boss, is there a problem with the bar?" He could hear that there was something wrong with Chen Jinhao's tone. It wasn't anger or dissatisfaction, but a little annoyed. Chen Jinhao was a very good boss. Lu Qin didn't want the other party to think that he had a bit of strength and became arrogant. The reason why Lu Qin asked for leave was because the contract with Whale TV had been finalized. Whale TV happily agreed to his two conditions and customized a new contract for him. After the electronic contract was confirmed, Lu Qin only needed to print 3 copies of the paper contract and send it to Shenzhen City tomorrow. And Coral Fish couldn't wait to open an anchor account and a live broadcast room for him. At 8 p.m. sharp, there would be a new anchor recommendation on the home page. From 8 p.m. to 12 p.m., it was the golden time for live broadcast. Lu Chen's performance at Forget Grass Bar was also at this time. He couldn't split himself into two, so he could only ask for leave from Qinjinhao. Lu Qin had a preliminary idea on how to solve this time conflict. However, the time was not ripe yet. He could only think of a way to temporarily stagger and try to balance both sides. "There's no problem," Qinjinhao smiled and said, "Actually, it should be a good thing. A few of our colleagues have heard about you and want to come over tonight. Since you have something to do, we can change it to tomorrow night." The bar circle in Hohai wasn't big, but it wasn't small either. Everyone made a living here, and many of the bar owners had good relationships with each other. Their singers would often go to each other's shows, and from time to time, they would sit together and chat. Qinjinhao had a strong network and had many friends in the circle. Therefore, when someone heard that his bar had recently produced a very good original singer, he called a few of his peers to visit him. News from Hohai spread very quickly. If Lu Qin really lived up to his reputation, there would naturally be people who would invite him to appear. If a bar was filled with the same faces, it would be hard to do business. Lu Qin also knew that it was a good thing. He quickly said, "Boss, I got it. I promise to be on time tomorrow night." Qinjinhao said, "Xiao Lu, if you do well, you will have a great future. If you encounter anything, don't hide it. If I can help, I will definitely help." Qinjinhao knew a little about Lu Qin's family situation, and he also knew that Lu Qin had always been working hard. Lu Qin said gratefully, "Thank you, boss." After hanging up the phone, Lu Qin reopened the web page of Whale TV and logged into his account. His ID in Whale TV did not change. It was still called Lu Fei. The interface of Whale TV's live broadcast room was similar to Starlight's show. Therefore, Lu Qin, who already had live broadcast experience, quickly got started and mastered most of the functions in a few minutes. Lu Fei's live broadcast room had not yet started, but after it was established 2 hours ago, the number of followers had been constantly increasing. From 0 to 100, it broke through 500 in one go. After breaking through 500, it became weak, and the growth rate slowed down a lot. This situation was normal. Because he was suddenly banned, not many of the 10,000 plus fans of Starlight's show could be brought to Whale TV. If it weren't for the Star Circle and QQ group built by Emperor Li Bai, the situation would be even more miserable. Everything would have to start from scratch. At least now, he had a lot of real fans. Keeping the anchor page of the live broadcast room, Lu Qin opened the forum of Whale TV and entered the Fish Nest. The Fish Nest was actually a fan circle. It was exactly the same as the Star Circle of Starlight's show. The fans in the Fish Nest called themselves Fish Fans. It was the most lively place on the website apart from the live broadcast platform. Lu Jiejun's Fish Nest and Lu Fei's live broadcast room were established at the same time. Relying on the vigorous promotion of the members in the QQ group, there were already 300 plus Fish fans in the Fish Nest. Although it was a newly established circle, the activity level of the members was very high. In a short span of 1 to 2 hours, there were already 100 plus posts and 700 plus replies. Among them, Lu Chen's live stream in Starry Live was still at the top. The moderator of the Fish Nest was called Nest Head. Currently, there were 2 Nest Heads, Lu Chen and Emperor Li Bai. Lu Chen found it interesting, so he sent a greeting post as Nest Head. His post immediately attracted a lot of replies from online Fish fans. Lu Fei appeared. When will he start broadcasting? I can't wait. 8:00. 8:00. 8:00. Important things must be repeated 3 times. I want to listen to Cinderella. It's so nice. I like the hosts playing and singing. Also, the host is really handsome. That's our General Lu. Of course, he's handsome. Speaking of which, is the person above a real girl? This girl will never change her name. Girl, please date me, soon, the thread went askew. It was bustling and noisy, and new posts were constantly being refreshed. Bang! Bang! Lu Chin was having a good time with everyone when someone suddenly knocked on the door of the room. He said without turning his head, "Come in, the door isn't closed." Without looking, Lu Chin knew that it was Li Feiyu outside the door. He was already familiar with the style of knocking. "Big singer, something big has happened." Li Feiyu pushed the door open and walked in. He shouted, "Our live broadcast room has been blocked." Lu Chin turned around and said with a smile, "Didn't you go on QQ? I had a falling out with StarLive because of a contract issue. They banned my live broadcast room and account. Now, I have signed with Whale TV. You see." He showed the interface of Whale TV on the computer screen to Li Feiyu. F***CK. Peter Pan was dumbfounded. "I didn't open QQ today. I didn't know such a big thing happened. Tell me, what's going on?" Lu Chin had to tell the whole story from beginning to end. After Li Fei heard that, he was filled with righteous indignation. He fiercely slapped his thigh and scolded, "StarLive is too much. Moldov **Ker, they are really intolerable bullies. Have you withdrawn all the star points that you gave me?" "No," Lu Chin shook his head with a wry smile and said, "It's too late. The account was blocked all of a sudden. F***CK. 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 Li Feiyu was even angrier than Lu Chin. So many star points were all fed to the dogs. In the past, if he lost more than 1,000 yuan, Lu Chin would definitely be distressed and annoyed. But now that he had switched to Whale TV, with a signing fee as high as 50,000 yuan, his mentality was indifferent. "I won't let them get away with it. If I don't return the reward, someone will naturally sue them." Prophet Emperor Forli Bai said in the group that he wanted Starlight's show to spit out everything they had eaten. "That's the only way," Li Feiyu said gloomily. "Fortunately, you're strong enough. Starlight's show can't block you. Although Whale TV is a bit weak now, it is still an old brand. There are still a lot of members. Let's not talk about anything else. Xiao Lu, if you need my help, just say it." Lu Chin had heard the same words last night, but he was still moved. "Okay." The two were friends who had known each other for a long time. There was no need for polite words. Li Feiyu scratched his head and said, "Then I'll go eat first. I'll wait for your live broadcast tonight. I'll be next door to support you." After Li Feiyu left, Lu Chin continued to chat with fans in Fish Nest and QQ groups. As time went by, his mood actually began to become perturbed. It was like when he was in junior high school, meeting a female classmate in the woods and waiting. Chapter 25. At 8 p.m., Lu Chin started his live broadcast debut on Whale TV. There were 520 people online. When the image of him holding a guitar appeared on the screen with the help of a high-definition camera, the audience immediately sent out a barrage of warm greetings. "Great, the Lu Jiajun regiment has been reborn. Wow, I finally see General Lu again, I'm so happy, *__*_**. Warmly welcome Lu Fei to Whale TV, the day of you dominating the world is just around the corner. Tonight, the host must sing a few more songs. Sing, you who sat next to me! Brothers, let's make the fish balls fly." Along with the barrage, a series of reward messages kept flipping through the dialog box on the right side of the screen. System notification, Little Apple, Black Iron 6, gifted the host 100 fish balls. System notification, Super Giant, Bronze 2, gifted the host 100 fish balls. System notification, Kitty, Bronze V, gifted the host 100 fish balls. System notification, Crystal Jelly, Bronze 2, gifted the host 100 fish balls. Whale TV's virtual currency is based on fish balls. 100 fish balls are equivalent to 1 yuan. Although there are only 500 plus people online at the beginning of the live broadcast, whether it's the barrage or the spamming, it can be said to be full of vigor. This was very difficult. Many anchors with tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of fans would only be able to take a tenth of the popularity with them when they switched companies. It was needless to say for newcomers and small anchors. No one would care about them if they switched to another channel. System notification, Call Me Li Bai, Silvereye, gifted the host 1 aircraft carrier. The next moment, a cartoon aircraft carrier flew across the screen. Amidst the rumbling of cannons, thousands of bright fireworks bloomed, blinding everyone's eyes. Following behind the aircraft carrier was a barrage of "Wow, local tycoon, I want to hug your leg, I want to date you." Whale TV's reward props were the same as Starlight Show's Starry Sky Battleship. Both were equivalent to 100,000 fish balls / 1,000 yuan. 1 aircraft carrier was gifted to the entire platform once. The one who made such a generous move was naturally Li Bai. He also had a member account in Whale TV, but his membership level was not as high as that of Starlight Show, so he disdained to ask the administrator to adjust his level. This nouveau riche wanted to reward him. "Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support," Lu Qin said into the microphone. "I have to thank our Lu Jiejun's chief of staff Li Bai the most. Not only is he good at writing poems, but he also knows how to build aircraft carriers. Even I want to be his sugar daddy." The screen was filled with hilarious comments. Lu Qin looked at the soaring number of people online and continued, "Tonight is my first live broadcast on Whale TV. To be honest, I was very nervous just now, afraid that I would disappoint everyone's expectations. But now that I see your support and love, I tell myself that I don't need to be afraid. I must work hard." Next, the first song I will sing is called, "Thank You Everyone." The intense prelude was like the sudden arrival of the summer rain. Under the friction between Lu Chen's fingertips and the steel strings, it fiercely impacted the microphone and crashed into everyone's ears. "Thank You" was a light rock song. It was once very popular in the 1990s. Until now, it was often covered or reinterpreted by people. It was a classic song that everyone was familiar with. This song was not easy to sing. If it was not sung well, it would be easy to make a fool of yourself. Singers without a bit of ability would not dare to touch it. Lu Qin did not use software to accompany him. He relied entirely on the guitar in his hand. Big increase in difficulty. At the beginning of the prelude, Lu Qin performed perfectly. His fingering was so skillful that it was as if he had practiced it thousands of times. Under the constantly changing and complex movements, he did not make a single mistake. In one go, he began to sing along with the rhythm. Those who were familiar with Lu Qin and had heard his songs had their eyes lit up. Because at this moment, Lu Qin performed a completely different style. There was no nostalgia of "You Who Sat Next to Me," there was no sadness of Cinderella, there was only passion and fiery emotion. "Thank you for accompanying me every minute of my life, letting me have sunshine, letting me have strength. Thank you for your support without complaint or regret, letting me get rid of the darkness, letting me no longer be cowardly. Thank you." With a little hoarse and a little deep voice, it was heart-stirring. Lu Qin used this song to express his gratitude to his supporters. At the same time, he also recalled the dark times he once had. He was proud that he did not sink and did not choose to be cowardly. Even if he had setbacks and failures, he had never been truly defeated by fate. At this moment, his soul seemed to be completely integrated with Su Bo in his dream, and there was no difference between the two. "Thank you." Lu Chen sang to the audience in front of the screen, and also to his own memories. Life is so beautiful. After singing the song, Lu Chen clenched the guitar and did not speak for a long time. The barrage was like a tide, and the fish balls fell like raindrops, filling the entire screen. System prompt, call me Li Bai, Silver Eye, gifted the host one aircraft carrier. System prompt, Big Brother Whale, Gold 6, gifted the host one aircraft carrier. Li Bai gave away another aircraft carrier. Another tycoon with an unknown ID followed closely behind and gave away an aircraft carrier. In less than 10 minutes after the debut show started, the total amount of gifts in Lu Fei's live broadcast room exceeded 40. In addition to the gifts, the number of people online also exploded. When the live broadcast first started, the popularity index was 520, and then it soared all the way to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Now it had reached 11,238. The popularity broke through 10,000. In such a short period of time, the popularity rose to such a high point, of course, because of the newcomer recommendation on the homepage and the tycoon's aircraft carrier gifts, but the key was still Lu Chen's strength. This song, Thank You, was extremely good. To put it bluntly, even the rock star who wrote this song, Gao Yuan, may not be able to perform better than Lu Chen. This song also completely ignited the atmosphere in the live broadcast room. Thank you Li Bai and Big Brother Whale for the aircraft carrier. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chen let himself relax and said, I'm really excited right now, and I feel like my heart is about to jump out of my throat. Everyone is too enthusiastic, so I decided to tell everyone a little joke before I sing the next song. To become an excellent anchor, it was very important to communicate with the audience. Just being able to sing was definitely not enough. Being able to talk was one of the important conditions to become popular. At the very least, one had to understand and be good at adjusting the atmosphere. In addition, the process of interacting with the audience could also reduce the work intensity of the live broadcast. Answering a few questions from the fans and making a few harmless jokes at the same time could increase the cohesion of the audience and better control the rhythm. The number of times Lu Chen live broadcast was still very few, but he was good at learning, and his personality was not rigid. Furthermore, he had experience performing in bars, so he did not have stage fright. Even if his eloquence had not been fully honed, he could easily make a few jokes. In his memory, the freelance writer Fang Mingyi was a famous online comedian in the dream world. In a mental hospital, a patient would lie on the bed and sing during treatment. After singing, he would turn over and sing again, and so on. The doctor asked curiously, if you want to sing, then just sing. Why do you have to turn over? The patient rolled his eyes at the doctor, are you stupid? After singing side A, of course I have to turn over and sing side B. Puchi. 2,000 kilometers away from Beijing, in the Operation Management Department of the Whale Technology Headquarters, Wu Shanshan sprayed out the coffee she had just drunk, splashing the desk, computer screen, and keyboard everywhere. Ah! She hurriedly put down the coffee cup in her hand and hurriedly pulled a tissue to wipe it. Despite the embarrassment, Wu Shanshan was still very happy, and her smile was like a flower. Previously, because of signing Lu Chen's 50,000 yuan signing fee, Wu Shanshan made a fool of herself in front of her uncle. Although Wu Hongming did not blame her too much, she was still suppressing a wave of energy in her heart. Wu Shanshan had been nervously watching Lu Chen's first live broadcast in the evening. The constantly soaring data suddenly gave her the confidence to face the boss again. She believed that Lu Chen would definitely become famous in Whale TV, and become the most outstanding anchor. Chapter 26. Beihai City Forum, Free World. In the evening, the forum gradually became more and more lively. Especially those single dogs in the university, who didn't play games or go to the library, often liked to mingle in the various sections of the forum, wearing different sock puppets to point out the situation. Then, because of the question of whether to put sugar or soy sauce in tofu pudding, they would pick up a brick and smash each other's heads. The world of the forum was big, but the mouth was the most important. Tonight at Ho Hai Bar, I found a handsome guy and a very good song. This post in the Free World section was pinned to the top by the moderator and was marked with a recommendation badge. It inevitably attracted the attention of a large number of forum members, and the number of clicks and replies skyrocketed. Damn, the moderator also sells his ass to help people hype. Read the post carefully, don't swear, the person is really handsome, the song is also a good song, don't drag everything into hype. I support the views of the person above, it's a pity it's too short. Do you know what this song is called? I can't find the full version on the internet, please download it. Don't ask, it should be an original song, it's very good. It's so good, it's played really well. It's very ordinary, old-fashioned style, it might have been popular in the past, but now, hee hee. Hee hee your head, if you have the ability, write one too, sour. That's right, I also think this song is very good, it's too short. According to this Wolf's analysis, this video should have been taken in Ho Hai Bar, identification complete. Which bar in Ho Hai? I want to go see. The old driver in front, take me with you. Regarding this recommendation post pinned by the moderator, the comments in the forum clearly showed a trend of two levels. Some people said it was very good, expressed that they listened to it several times, but regretted that it was only a paragraph and not a complete one. But there were also people who thought it was nothing special, a very ordinary song, and even suspected that it was a premeditated hype. Someone disdainfully expressed that he had seen too many such hype methods, first deliberately leaking something, arousing everyone's interest, and then gradually releasing the whole content, just like fishing. People with sufficient intelligence would not fall for it. His view received the approval of many people. The people who frequented the North Sea City Forum were all university students, and they were usually very enthusiastic, flamboyant, and extremely arrogant. They believed that the entire world belonged to them, and they had a contemptuous attitude toward authority. Some people liked to do things the opposite. If others said it was good, they would oppose it. Otherwise, they would not be able to show off their pretentiousness. These people were often referred to as vipers in the forum. They were venomous snakes that liked to spit venom and would not let go once they bit something. This person, whose ID was Horizon Passerby, was obviously an authentic viper. He was quite famous in the Free World section and had a few fans. Unfortunately, not long after Horizon Passerby's reply was posted, it was seen by Xiaomi, who had just gone online. Little Me was the mini baby who had posted the thread. She wasn't feeling well at night, so she didn't go shopping with her roommates. She was bored lying in bed, so she turned on her laptop and surfed the internet. In the end, the moment Xiaomi entered the Beihai City Forum, she was shocked by the large number of system notifications. Only then did she realize that her thread from last night had been recommended by the moderator, and it was pinned at the top of the Free World section. There were 30,000 plus views and 1,000 plus replies. Even if it was recommended and pinned at the top, this kind of popularity was already very shocking. Xiaomi was both surprised and happy. She happily browsed through the replies of others until she saw Horizon Passerby's reply. Xiaomi's lungs were about to explode from anger. She didn't care if others said it was ordinary, but there were too many jealous fellows in the forum. She didn't care if others asked if it was a publicity stunt. How could a person not be stabbed in the streets? Xiaomi was also a small street in the forum. However, Horizon Passerby's post was too crafty. He used an expert's analysis to spit venom, and treated Mini Baby as a professional publicity stunt. His sarcastic remarks were very clear, and it even received the approval of many people. How could Xiaomi tolerate this? Even though Xiaomi usually behaved like an obedient girl, she wasn't the kind of girl who would silently endure grievances. She immediately wrote a new thread in Free World and posted it. Naming Horizon passerby, I'm not a professional publicity stunt. Do you dare to reveal your identity? The long title, the fiery mood, and the naming battle instantly attracted a lot of attention. In this thread, Xiaomi briefly introduced the origin of the video in the pinned post, answered a few questions that everyone was concerned about, and attached a meal card with a modified photo and serial number. She was meticulous and even added a note with her forum ID beside the meal card to prove her identity. At the end of the thread, Xiaomi questioned Horizon passerby, I guarantee that I'm not a professional publicity stunt. Do you dare to prove your identity? If you don't dare, then please shut your stinky mouth. Her thread had only been posted for half a minute, and there were already over 100 replies. Wow, it's a junior from Beijing Normal University. Horizon passerby is just a slacker. Junior, don't be angry. Anger is bad for your body. I've long found that fellow an eyesore. Junior, you scolded him well. Girl, please take a photo. She should be a beauty. Even with such a thick mosaic, you can still tell that she's a beauty. This little brother is really impressed. I concede defeat. Stupid. Take off your glasses and take a look. Support Junior and trample Horizon passerby, this venomous spammer. You who sat next to me. The title of the song is not bad. Requesting for the full version. I don't think there's a full version, the replies were completely one-sided. Although Xiaomi had changed the photo and serial number on the meal card, the logo of Beijing Normal University was still clearly visible, strongly proving her identity. Beijing Normal University was famous for having many girls and beauties. The girls of Beijing Normal University naturally had a higher authority in the Beihai City Forum. Crushing a single dog like Horizon passerby was a piece of cake for them. The moderator of Free World, Wang Yu, had tacitly pinned Xiaomi's post to the top. Because he had heard a good song that moved him, he recommended Xiaomi's video. Towards Horizon passerby, this kind of unreasonable and venomous spammer, he naturally felt disgusted. However, due to his position as a moderator, he could not personally go down and spar with the other party. Now that the main character had stood out, regardless of whether she was a junior from Beijing Normal University or not, Wang Yu strongly supported her battle. After the post was pinned, the number of replies skyrocketed. It was equivalent to hanging Horizon passerby up and whipping him. Horizon passerby, who had always been famous in the forum for his venomous snake and fighting strength, did not show his face no matter what. Horizon passerby was not a simple-minded fool. He clearly knew who he could step on and who he could not provoke. It was easy for him to spit on Mini Baby, but the consequences of a momentary gratification were very serious. It must be known that in Beihai City Forum, a large number of single dogs had gathered. These people were all beasts that could not even be restrained by a rope upon seeing a junior, especially a beautiful junior. How could they let go of the opportunity to curry favor with a girl? They would track down Horizon passerby's IP and find out his name, age, dormitory address. Just thinking about it was terrifying. If Horizon passerby did not want to die an ugly death, he could only be a coward. He could not become the enemy of the large number of single people. He himself was a single dog, and the same kind understood the same kind. After Horizon passerby pretended to be a dead dog, the large number of people lost their motivation to spit. They changed their questions back to the original video and asked for more details. Regardless of whether they really liked the song or not, it was a good thing to be able to chat with a junior from Beijing Normal University. How could one resolve their worries in the lonely night? They could only chat on the forum. Xiaomi, who had completely defeated the venomous spammers, patiently answered their questions. Other than telling them that the song was called You Who Sat Next to Me, she also revealed the location where she listened to the song, as well as her feelings and likes towards the song. Inadvertently, You Who Sat Next to Me in the most suitable environment for it, quietly fermented and sprouted green sprouts. Chapter 27. Whale TV, Lu Fei Live Broadcast Room. Lu Chen's debut on Whale TV has been 2 hours since the broadcast. He played and sang a total of 9 songs, including his own original songs, You Who Sat Next to Me, and Cinderella. At 8:30, the online popularity reached 15,000 plus. At 9 o'clock, the online popularity reached 20,000 plus. At 9:30, it reached 30,000 plus. Just after 10 o'clock, the online popularity reached 49742 and was about to break through the 50,000 mark. And the number of Fish fans, which was 500 plus at the beginning of the broadcast, has now jumped to 45,000 plus, a full 90 times increase. Such data is undoubtedly terrible, especially for a new anchor who was not famous. It is simply an incredible miracle, because Lu Chen's data is real, without the slightest bit of falsification. His total reward exceeded 10T, of which Li Bai contributed 5 aircraft carriers. This Chief of Staff Lu Jiajun used the method of gifting super props to bring a lot of popularity to Lu Chen. Otherwise, just relying on the newcomer recommendation on the home page would not have such a good effect. But pulling in the audience is one thing, whether or not he can keep the popularity is another. The most powerful thing about Lu Chen is that the conversion ratio between popularity and the number of followers is very high. At least 80% of the audience who came to the live broadcast room chose to follow and became his live broadcast fans. Now Lu Chen still does not understand the power of his data, but the screen full of barrage and the crazy notifications of fish balls still made him feel very happy and satisfied. Thank you for the fish balls. There are too many people, I just want to express my thanks, Lu Chen said to the microphone. Today is my first live broadcast on Whale TV. I didn't expect that so many friends would like to listen to me sing. I really appreciate everyone's support and love. A new wave of fish balls appeared on the screen. Although they are mainly 100 yuan rewards, it can still add up. Lu Feida, come on, we support you. The anchor is mighty. The people of Jiangnan send their congratulations to the anchor for the success of the premiere. The people of Xiangbei send their congratulations. The people of Xinjing send their congratulations. The people of Chaoshan send their congratulations. The people of Treasure Island send their congratulations. Damn, there are actually people from Taiwan watching Lu Fei Da's live broadcast. It's fate, it's fate. Hee, I'm from Xiangjiang. I'm also congratulating you. Huanya is passing by, classmate Li Bai grunted a couple of times. Without further ado, he directly gifted him an aircraft carrier. The total amount of donations in Lu Fei's live stream had reached 11T. Lu Chen signed a formal contract with Whale TV. He can get 65% of the props after tax, which is 15% higher than the 50% before signing the contract. Don't underestimate the 15% increase. You should know that the personal income tax that anchors need to pay is fixed at 20%. Therefore, Whale TV can only take 15%. Although the platform has other benefits, the majority of the income still belongs to the anchors. If Lu Chen needs the 11T props reward, he can immediately withdraw more than 7,000 yuan. Moreover, this is only the income from his 2 hours of live broadcast. He finally understood why online live broadcasts are so popular nowadays. Popular anchors can easily get a signing fee of millions or tens of millions, and there are so many people rushing to throw themselves into it. This cake is too big. There was a reason why Starry Live was so awesome. Lu Chen put down the guitar in his arms and reached for the mineral water bottle on the table. He unscrewed the cap and drank 2 mouthfuls to moisten his throat. He also took the opportunity to rest for a while. Performing live for a long time made him a little tired, but his spirit was still incomparably high. If he can have this kind of income regularly, then paying off his family's debts in the future won't be a big problem. So what if he works a little harder? Thank you, Li Bai, for the aircraft carrier. Lu Chen put down the mineral water bottle and picked up the guitar again. He showed a heartfelt smile to the high-definition camera. The next song, The Stubborn Biological Clock, made Lu Chen wake up on time in the early morning. The basement room where the sunlight cannot shine was incomparably dark. It was impossible to tell whether it was day or night. He opened his eyes but couldn't see anything. Following his memory, he turned on the small bedside lamp. Paw! The orange light instantly shone on Lu Chen's face, making him squint his eyes and frown. He reached out and rubbed his temples. He still felt dizzy and the hangover had not completely disappeared. Lu Chen did not immediately get up. He lay on the bed and opened his eyes to look at the gray cement board above his head. It seems like he is still in a dream. Last night, Lu Chen's debut on Whale TV was broadcast for a total of 3 hours. By the end of the broadcast, the number of followers in Lu Fei's live broadcast successfully broke the 50,000 mark. The highest online popularity was 60,000 plus. Although compared to the millions of followers and millions of online popularity of Whale TV's most popular anchor, Lu Chen is still far away. But as a new anchor, Lu Chen has already succeeded to the point where he could not be more successful. One song, You Who Sat Next to Me, and one song, Cinderella, made his reputation as a singer on Whale TV start. He also received a considerable amount of props as a reward. The total reward of 12T allowed Lu Chen to beat 90% of his peers on Whale TV. And to accomplish this, he only used the time of one live broadcast. Gold will always shine. Even in the face of a temporary setback and failure, in the end, it cannot be buried. Lu Chen suddenly turned over and reached under the pillow for his cell phone. He couldn't wait to open the message and read the latest message again. This message was a push notification from the bank, informing Lu Chen that his account received 7,800 yuan. This was the share of the reward that Lu Chen withdrew from the Whale TV account after the end of the live broadcast last night. 65% of the 12T fish balls was 7,800 yuan. In the past, it was equivalent to Lu Chen's hard-earned income for a month. Therefore, he still couldn't believe that he could easily earn a month's salary in the past. He was a little worried that this was just a dream. When he woke up, there would be nothing left. Fortunately, it was not a dream. Lu Chen couldn't help but hold the phone and wave it excitedly. However, his dizzy brain hadn't fully adapted to the new emotions. The sudden pain made him groan. Last night's live broadcast had just ended. Li Feiyu from next door ran over and shouted that he wanted Lu Chen to treat him to a meal to celebrate his Whale TV winning a good start. How could Lu Chen object? So he ran to a nearby restaurant with Li Feiyu and drank a box of beer. This guy. Lu Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. He got out of bed, put on his clothes, and ran to the bathroom. After washing up, he left home to exercise. When he returned to the house, it was already 9 in the morning. Lu Chen changed into a wet sweatshirt and started another busy day of work. He ordered takeout at noon and then went to work in the afternoon. He went out at 4 in the afternoon and printed the contract with a USB. After signing it, he sent it directly to Deep Sea City. At 5, he ate a sumptuous buffet to reward himself. At 6:30, he left for the bar. At 7:10 in the evening, Lu Chen arrived at Forget Grass Bar early. The bar usually opened around 5. Since it wasn't a weekend, there weren't many customers inside. It was very deserted. Not even a waiter could be seen. The bartender, David, was making cocktails behind the bar. When he saw Lu Chen push open the door, he immediately waved his hand and said, "Lou, come and taste the cocktail I just made. I think you will love it." Lu Chen walked over and said with a smile, "I think I will only fall in love with beautiful women." It was still early, so he sat down in front of the bar. The sparkling and translucent goblets were filled with blood-red wine that glistened under the light of the bar counter. David beamed with joy and said, "I named it Burning." "Burning?" Lu Chen looked at the cocktail David handed over with a suspicious gaze and said, "I feel like it's no different from a Bloody Mary. It's just that the color is a bit brighter." David immediately showed an insulted expression. Unfortunately, his expression was a bit fake. At this moment, a slender hand suddenly reached out from beside Lu Chen and took the glass of Burning. Chapter 28. It was a beautiful hand, slender yet smooth. The skin was as white as jade and flawless. The 5 fingers were as slender as spring onions, and the nails were trimmed neatly. There was no nail polish on the surface of the nails, and it was suffused with a healthy light pink color. There was no doubt that this was a woman's hand. She gracefully and skillfully took the goblet, as if this goblet of Burning was specially made for her, rather than robbing Lu Chen. Lu Chen couldn't help but turn his head and saw a face that left a deep impression on him. Su Qingmei, the director of Light Rain Media. At night, this director Su changed into a casual female outfit. She looked a lot more dignified and didn't have that kind of seductive charm. Lu Chen politely said, "Hello, Director Su." There was a bit of alienation in the politeness. Lu Chen didn't think that the woman he had once rejected would appear here again just to snatch a cocktail. He instinctively felt vigilant. "Hello, Mr. Lu Chen," Su Qingmei faintly replied. She brought the cocktail to her lips and took a small sip. Then, she commented, "There's too much juice and it diluted the alcohol. The taste is more sweet than mellow. Burning doesn't live up to its name." David exaggeratedly opened his mouth and said, "Miss Su, the alcohol content of Burning is already very high. But it's still not high enough, right?" Su Qingmei put the wine glass back on the bar and said to Lu Chen, "Do you want to try?" On the glass, there was still a light lip mark that belonged to her. Was this a provocation? Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you, but no need. Alcohol isn't good for the throat, and I'm a singer." Last night, he also drank a lot of beer. Of course, for people who like to drink, beer really wasn't considered alcohol. Nodding at the other party, Lu Chen got up and left the bar. Su Qingmei felt that her attack was like hitting cotton, empty and powerless. She wanted to explode, but couldn't find any reason. She could only humph in embarrassment. David shrugged his shoulders and pretended that he didn't know anything. He continued to mix his cocktail. As a smart bartender, he didn't want to get involved in a battle between a man and a woman. Carrying his guitar, Lu Chen went backstage. There weren't many people in the big room. Only Wang Xiaoshui was there. He was listening to music with his headphones on. He didn't notice Lu Chen's appearance. Lu Chen sat down in his seat, opened the guitar case, took out the guitar, and retuned it. Then he prepared the repertoire for the evening performance. The 2 original songs, You Who Sat Next to Me and Cinderella, are undoubtedly fixed programs. As for the other songs, he wants to change to 2 soothing and affectionate love songs, or add a light rock song that is not intense. Many of the customers in Hohai bars were very picky. In the past, Lu Chen had no problem fooling those customers who didn't know the ropes, but now he had a higher goal. Even if he was singing on the stage of a bar, he still had to have style and quality. Before he achieved success, Lu Chen had to continue his career as a bar singer. But if he wanted to do it, he had to do it to the best of his ability. He couldn't do it half-heartedly. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was almost 8 o'clock in the evening. There were more and more customers in the bar. Li Hong and Yi Xinyang came. The former was more polite to Lu Qin and even took the initiative to greet him. However, the latter still couldn't put down his pride and had a lukewarm attitude. Lu Qin didn't care. In the past, he might have envied Yi Xinyang, but now he didn't need to be envious of anyone, no matter what level the singer was. Just after 8 o'clock, Sister Na also appeared in the backstage room. As usual, she warmly greeted everyone, then pulled Lu Qin to the side and said, "Tonight, a few friends of the boss will be coming over. I have arranged for you to go on stage at 9 o'clock. Perform well, it's a good opportunity." "I got it. Thank you, Sister Na." "Oh yeah," Lu Qin nodded his head and took out something that he had already prepared. "This is for you." "What is it?" Sister Na curiously took it and smiled. "It can't be a love letter, right? Your Sister Na is already too old. If I could be 20 years younger, then I would take the initiative to chase after you." Haha. What Lu Qin gave her was a folded A4 printed paper. "A song. I hope Sister Na will like it. You really wrote a song for me." Sister Na opened the paper and looked at the laser-printed music score. She said in surprise, "Thank you." 2 days ago, she joked with Lu Qin that she wanted Lu Qin to write a song for her. After she said it, she didn't keep it in mind. Therefore, she didn't expect that Lu Qin would really write a song for her. Her voice was very loud. Li Hong, Yi Xinyang and the others who were backstage heard it and couldn't help but look at each other. Lu Qin wrote a song for Sister Na. Is this for real? Yi Xinyang curled his lips in disdain. He didn't think much of it. He admitted that the 2 original songs by Lu Qin were good, but this kind of nostalgic folk song style wasn't suitable for Sister Na. Moreover, it wasn't easy to write a good song. He reckoned that it was some kind of claptrap to please the public. In addition to being touched, Sister Na didn't have much expectation for this song that Lu Qin wrote for her. Nowadays, it wasn't easy to write original songs. A good song was really hard to come by. However, when she read the music score and softly sang, her expression quickly changed. Although Sister Na wasn't a star singer, nor was she a professional, she had been in this industry for 20 years. She had sung too many songs and her experience could be said to be incomparably rich. Whether a song was good or not, she could tell with one look, even if it was a brand new original work. Chapter 29. Ha! What's wrong with you guys? At this time, the backstage door was pushed open and Qin Jinhao strode in. Seeing the situation in the room, the boss of Forget Grass Bar was very surprised. He didn't understand what happened and didn't know why Sister Na was hugging Lu Qin and crying. "Boss!" Sister Na let go of Lu Qin. Her face was crying and smiling at the same time. She walked over to Qin Jinhao and said, "Xiao Lu wrote a song for me. What do you think about it?" Qin Jinhao took the paper from Sister Na in surprise and looked at the printed music score seriously. He looked at it for a full 5 minutes. His expression changed from solemn, moved, praising, and lamenting. After looking at it, Qin Jinhao was silent. "Boss, what do you think?" Sister Na asked anxiously. She was like a primary school student waiting for the teacher to question her, not a veteran who had been in the singing circle for more than 20 years and was eager for praise but afraid of criticism. "Good song." Qin Jinhao replied in a deep voice, "It's a really good song. I just can't believe that this song was written by Xiao Lu. It's too suitable for you." Qin Jinhao was originally in the singing circle. In terms of musical attainment, he was better than Sister Na. Therefore, he could read the meaning of this song from a higher level. Therefore, it was really hard for him to believe that this song was written by Lu Qin. Sister Na wiped the tears on her face and said with a smile, "Yes, I just tried it and cried. Among the people present, including Qin Jinhao, no one was older than her, but Sister Na didn't feel embarrassed at all. Her heart was only excited and touched. This song must be done well. Qin Jinhao didn't continue to dwell on Lu Chen's problem. He shook the music score in his hand and said, "It's enough to be the title song of an album. As long as it's done well, it has the potential to be a hit." Album. Title song. Li Hong, Yi Zhenyang, and Wang Xiaoshui were all dumbstruck. They suspected that they had heard wrongly. They now knew that the reason why Sister Na was so excited was because Lu Chen wrote a good song for her. But how good the song was, Qin Jinhao gave the answer on the spot. Any singer, unless they have lost the slightest initiative, will regard making an album as one of the most important goals in life, even if there is not much money to make from making an album. An album, a record, represents a singer's qualifications, identity, and style. Sister Na smiled bitterly. "I don't dare to think about an album. I'll be satisfied if I can release a single. I have no regrets." Nowadays, if singers wanted to release an album, most of them had to make a loss. Except for those popular singers and idols, ordinary singers really didn't dare to have such extravagant hopes. In comparison, it was much easier to release a single, and it was also very popular in the industry. Qin Jinhao did not object. "A single is fine too. If you need any help, just let me know. I have some connections that I can use." Sister Na was grateful. "Thank you, boss." Qin Jinhao had always admired her and took good care of her. Moreover, Qin Jinhao had a wide network. With his help, it was not a problem to release a single. Qin Jinhao smiled. "You should be thanking Xiao Lu. His song is really perfect." Sister Na nodded. "That's for sure." She thought for a moment, took out her phone, and quickly operated on the screen. After a while, Lu Chen's pocket rang with the sound of his mobile phone receiving a text message. Lu Chen was stunned and quickly took out his phone. In the end, he found out that it was a message from Yi Fubao, reminding him that there was a change in his account. Someone had just transferred 30,000 yuan to his account. Needless to say, this 30,000 yuan was 100% given by Sister Na. Yi Fubao's transfer was very convenient. As long as you know the other party's phone number, you can transfer the money. Lu Chen was surprised. "Sister Na, 30,000 yuan is too much." He gave this song to Sister Na to repay her for taking care of him. It was also because this song was really suitable for her. As for the cost of writing a song, Lu Chen did not think about it. Sister Na's thoughts were completely different. "Xiao Lu, the 30,000 yuan I gave you for this song is too little. Adding another zero is completely worth it. However, I don't have that much money right now. I'll pay you back in the future." She was very clear about the true value of a good song. Since the rise of pop music in the 80s and 90s, many singers relied on a classic to become popular. They relied on their previous works to earn a lot of money. Asking for a few 100,000 yuan for such a song was considered small. Of course, paying for a song was not calculated in this way. Whether a song could become popular or not, there were many other factors. Especially in the current age of the internet, becoming famous often required a lot of hype and people behind the scenes. Even so, Sister Na still felt that giving 30,000 yuan was big unfair to Lu Chen. Lu Chen could not help but scratch his head and said, "Sister Na, you make me so embarrassed. Pretentious." Yi Zhenyang and the others scolded in their hearts. At the same time, they were extremely envious and jealous of Lu Chen. Writing a song already cost 30,000 yuan. If he wrote 8 to 10 songs, wouldn't he be able to sell it for hundreds of thousands? When did Lu Chen become so capable? Not only did he write his own songs, he could also write songs for others. Among the three, Li Hong's feelings were the most complicated. She was also envious of Lu Qin. She was even more envious of Sister Na for buying a good song. She hated herself for not having such luck. Li Hong also wanted to buy a song from Lu Qin. However, 30,000 yuan was really too high. It was enough to buy a song from a famous singer. Moreover, she really could not afford it and was reluctant to part with it. The income of a bar singer was not bad. However, the cost of living in Beijing was too high. Rent, living expenses, daily expenses, clothes, makeup, beauty. After a year, there was not much savings left. Therefore, she could only watch and be secretly envious. Actually, Li Hong was really thinking too much. Even if she could take out 30,000 yuan, Lu Qin would not sell a song to her. The two of them did not have such a relationship. Okay, everyone get ready to perform. Qin Jinhao clapped his hands and said, Xiao Lu, come here. I have something to tell you. Therefore, Lu Qin followed him and the two of them chatted privately in the corner of the room. Qin Jinhao made a long story short. Just now, the boss of Blue Lotus Bar, Chang Wei, came over. There were also a few people in the circle. They might invite you to participate in this Saturday's music night. Lu Qin was surprised. Invite me. Blue Lotus Bar was the largest and most powerful bar in Hohai. It opened very early. The boss, Chang Wei, was very famous in the circle. He was a very charismatic person. Lu Qin had been to Blue Lotus Bar before. The parking lot there was much bigger than Forget Worries Bar. It was often used to hold open-air music nights and often attracted thousands of guests or music fans. Blue Lotus Bar had a tradition of inviting singers from the same industry. Of course, the people they invited were all very capable. If they didn't have a bit of ability, they would be booed off the stage. The invited singers were also very willing to participate. Other than getting paid, the key was that there would be a lot of people from entertainment companies coming to watch. Maybe they would be chosen and sign a contract, walking on the road to fame. Of course, Lu Qin knew about Blue Lotus Bar, but he didn't think that Chang Wei would invite him. Qin Jinhao said, That's right, but it also depends on your performance. Last night, you had something to do and couldn't come. Tonight, you can't make me lose face. Although it was a joking tone, one could still see Qin Jinhao's serious attitude. Lu Qin nodded his head. His heart suddenly moved. Boss, does this matter have something to do with Director Su? Currently, he was only a small singer in a bar. Even if he created 2 good songs, Chang Wei didn't have a reason to pay so much attention to him. There must be other reasons. Lu Qin thought of Su Qingmei whom he had just met at the bar counter, so he blurted out. Cough cough. Qin Jinhao coughed twice and said, This time's Blue Lotus Bar is sponsored by Light Rain Media. Light Rain Media's boss has a good relationship with Chang Wei, so it was like this. Lu Qin suddenly understood. He didn't understand why Su Qingmei wouldn't let go of him and wouldn't give up her evil intentions. Qin Jinhao patted his shoulder and said, You don't need to think too much. Just focus on performing well. This is also a very good opportunity. As for other things, as long as you stick to your own ideas, no one can force you. A smile appeared on Lu Qin's face. I understand. Thank you, boss. The current him really didn't need to care too much. Chapter 30. Perhaps he's waiting for you to arrive. Perhaps he's waiting for you to arrive. Perhaps he's waiting for you to arrive. The repetitive ending gradually disappeared along with the sound of the guitar. The song, Cinderella, was played and sung. The nearly full bar was silent for a moment. Then, applause rang out from every seat. Although it wasn't enough to flip the roof over, it was lasting and enthusiastic. Performing this lyrical song once again, Lu Chen's fingering and singing skills were already impeccable. The real improvement was in the feelings integrated into the song. It was more real and deeper, resonating with everyone. He was fully deserving of the praise and applause. What do you guys think? There were 6 people sitting in the reserved VIP area of the Forget Grass bar. Chen Jinhao was one of them. He smiled and asked, "Boss Chang, does my little buddy still enter your discerning eyes?" Although his tone was very humble, no matter how one listened to it, it sounded like he was showing off. Of course, Chen Jinhao wasn't a shallow person. The person he was joking with was a middle-aged man in his 40s. Chang Wei, the owner of Blue Lotus Bar. Chang Wei looked very thin, but it wasn't the kind of thin that could be blown away by a gust of wind. Instead, he was very capable. He had a buzz cut, and his eyes were bright and full of expression. His dressing was very tasteful. Aside from a small red sandalwood bracelet hanging on his left wrist, he didn't have any other jewelry. In the circle of Hohai, Chang Wei was undoubtedly at the top. His network was deep, and he had connections from all walks of life. In the past 10 years, he had managed Blue Lotus Bar so well that it became #1 in the industry. What people admired the most was Chang Wei's foresight. Back then, when the land in Hohai was already very valuable, he didn't hesitate to spend a large sum of money to buy the land where the bar was located. Now, the land price had increased by at least 10 times. In the past 10 years, Blue Lotus Bar had produced many famous singers. Some of them had already become big shots in the industry. Chang Wei's support could be said to be indispensable, but he never talked about these things. Chang Wei and Qin Jinhao had known each other for 10 years, and the relationship between them was enough for them to make some harmless jokes. However, towards the latter's joke, he still nodded seriously and said, "That's right." Qin Jinhao knew that for Chang Wei, the word "not bad" was already a very high evaluation. There was a time when a famous singer went to Blue Lotus Flower to sing and won a lot of applause, but Chang Wei's evaluation was only "not bad." Even with his shrewdness, he couldn't help but be overjoyed. This time, he was truly happy. "It's really not bad." A middle-aged woman sitting on the left side of Chang Wei agreed. Both songs are very unique. They are typical nostalgic folk songs. It's been a long time since I've heard such songs. It's really nostalgic. This woman was also about 40 years old. She had a round and plump face, and her skin was fair and well-maintained. However, the crow's feet at the corner of her eyes betrayed her true age. Her charm and temperament were both extraordinary. Brother Chang and sister Chen both said it's not bad, so it definitely can't be wrong. Another man with squinting eyes said with a smile, "Director Su, since you're so familiar with Boss Jinhao, hurry up and sign this little buddy of his. Let him be heartbroken." The target of his teasing was Su Qingmei. However, he didn't know that Su Qingmei had already been humiliated by Lu Qin 2 days ago. Saying this to her now was simply touching a sore spot. It was close to slapping her in the face. Su Qingmei snorted and said, "Brother Kenho, this buddy is very arrogant. We can't afford to hire him." This lecherous man was Chang Wei's friend, and he was also a person in the circle. If he didn't know the inside story and made a joke, then he really shouldn't mix around in this industry anymore. Therefore, Su Qingmei could only endure. However, her resentment was very deep. Who here wasn't a smart person? Once they heard Su Qingmei's resentment, they immediately understood. The man with squinting eyes immediately realized that he had just said the wrong thing. He hurriedly added a sentence in surprise, "No way. He doesn't even like your light rain media." Although he had the intention of pleasing the other party to make up for his mistake, he was also really surprised. Although Light Rain Media was a rising star in the industry and had just been established in Beijing for a short time, whether it was their background or strength, they could be said to be strong. They had recruited a group of outstanding talents to join them and were preparing to show their strength. This kind of new company could be said to have a boundless future. Recently, Light Rain Media and Blue Lotus Bar jointly held a music night. Who knew how many people wanted to squeeze their heads and show their faces? Everyone else was scrambling like ducks, but Lu Qin actually rejected Su Qingmei's invitation. It was really unimaginable. Big Chong Wei's evaluation of Lu Qin and his heart immediately dropped. His singing was not bad, he was also handsome, but his brain wasn't good. Chen Jinhao was a bit embarrassed. He coughed twice and said, Xiao Lu's personality is a bit undisciplined. He doesn't want to be bound by the contract. He's still young, so his way of thinking is always different from us old guys. Chong Wei glanced at Su Qingmei and calmly said, It's fine as long as his singing is good. Then count him in. No one objected, not even Su Qingmei. It was only a small matter. Brother Lu. On the other side, Lu Qin had just finished singing, but before he could enter the backstage, he was stopped by a waiter. Lu Qin stared blankly, then immediately smiled and said, Brother Zhang, what's the matter? There was no waiter in Forget Worries bar that Lu Qin didn't know, because he was originally one of them. However, he wasn't too familiar with this waiter named Zhang. The two of them didn't have any friendship, they only knew each other through work. In the past, his attitude towards Lu Qin wasn't this enthusiastic, and even had a bit of flattery. I don't dare to call you brother, waiter Zhang repeatedly shook his head and said, Brother Lu, you are now a signed singer. Just call me Little Zhang. A signed singer didn't need him to be so respectful. It was his former colleague, Little Gao. It was said that because he offended Lu Qin, he was fired by his boss and couldn't even survive in Ho-Hai. Lu Qin helplessly said, Brother Zhang, if you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to be so polite. Waiter Zhang embarrassedly smiled, then pointed to the back and said, The guests at table 27 over there want to chat with you. They are all university girls, and two of them are very beautiful. He winked, with an expression that said it would be a pity if he missed it. Lu Qin couldn't help but laugh and said, Okay, I'll go over after I put down my guitar. Thanks. He was very clear that the other party must have received a tip from someone else, which was why they were so attentive to him. However, this wasn't a big deal. It was better to be kind to others than to be scolded behind his back. He had been a waiter for a long time, so he knew the hardships and tiredness of this job. It really wasn't easy to earn money. Waiter Zhang was simply flattered, Great, I'll go and tell the guests. Thank you, Brother Lu. He eagerly ran away, and Lu Qin put down his guitar backstage and also came to table 27. Waiter Zhang didn't fool him. There were 5 girls at table 27, and at a glance, it was obvious that they were university students who came from the nearby university town to play. 2 of them could be considered beauties. Hello. Lu Qin smiled and greeted, Welcome to Nepenthes bar. There were 5 seats for 4, so he didn't squeeze in. He was ready to leave after a few words. The 5 girls were all very shy. They looked at each other and finally, one of them boldly stood up and said, Hello, we saw your video on the forum, so we came to listen to your song. You sang really well, forum. Lu Qin was surprised, What forum? Beihai City Forum. The girl said with some excitement, You're already famous there. The video that took you has already been posted on the Free World section with 100,000 views. Unfortunately, the content is only a small section, so we came here at night to watch the scene. She and Lu Qin started a conversation, and the other girls also became bolder and chattered. I heard that someone came last night, but unfortunately, they didn't see you. They thought they were in the wrong place. Our luck is not bad, we saw the real person. Hee, it's the most comfortable to listen to it live. The sound quality of the video is too bad. Handsome, will you still go on stage to sing? So it was like this. Lu Chen nodded his head. He didn't know that someone secretly took a video of him and posted it on the forum. Does this guy not know the rules of Nepenthes bar? He should be spanked on the butt. Achoo! At the same time, in Beijing Normal University's female dormitory 415. Student Xiaomi, who was sitting in front of her desk and flipping through her notes, suddenly couldn't help but sneeze loudly. She rubbed her nose and rubbed her butt, which was numb from sitting for so long. She felt a little baffled. Chapter 31. Lu Chen was no stranger to the Beihai City Forum. The Beihai City Forum was known as the #1 online BBS for college students in China. Whether it was popularity, it was very high. When he was studying at Jianghai University, he once went to the Beihai City Forum to chat, quarrel, and had his own forum account. Although he hadn't been there for a long time, when the memory came back, Lu Chen still felt familiar and intimate. Even the girls in front of him had a better impression. I'm glad you can come over and listen to me sing. He waved to the waiter surnamed Zhang, who was not far away, and said with a smile, I'll treat you to a drink of summer style. Please take care of me, thank you. Summer style was a low-alcohol minty cocktail, most suitable for women to drink, and would not get drunk. The girls all laughed, some excited and some shy, brimming with a youthful and happy atmosphere. A girl in a white dress asked, Your name is Lu Chen, right? They said you're still studying at university. Is that true? Give me 5 cups of summer style, put it on my bill. Lu Chen glared at Xiao Zhang, who had just come over. This guy must have sold him out. He nodded and calmly replied, Yes, I'm studying at Jianghai University. I'll graduate in half a month. I can be considered as your senior, right? Xiao Zhang felt very guilty after being glared at by Lu Chen, and hurriedly ran to the bar to ask for a drink. The girls looked at each other, and then said in unison, Hello, senior. One of the girls in a yellow dress said, I've been to Jianghai University. I have a classmate studying in the art department there. Maybe you guys know each other. Senior, can you give me your QQ number? This girl in a yellow dress was very beautiful, and had many pursuers in the university. However, she was usually quite reserved in front of boys, and had never taken the initiative to ask other boys for contact information. But she really likes Lu Chen's songs. She likes both You Who Sat Next to Me and Cinderella. The most important thing is that Lu Chen is handsome and hearty. He is also a senior of Jianghai University. Naturally, she has a good impression of him. No problem. Lu Chen readily agreed and told them his QQ number. One by one, the girls took out their mobile phones, logged into their QQ numbers on the spot, and added Lu Chen as a friend. Lu Chen knew that these girls were all from Beijing Normal University. The girl in the white dress, Zhuo Xintian, and the girl in the yellow dress, Yi Zitong, were both sophomores from Beijing Normal University's Chinese department. Zhuo Xintian was just like her name, a cute and sweet type of girl. Yi Zitong was the most outstanding among the 5 girls in terms of figure and appearance. Zhuo Xintian asked, Senior Lu Chen, do you have the full version of the video or audio of the song you sang? Recording is not allowed here, so I want to bring it back for more people to hear. After signing with the platform, the second live broadcast started at 2300 hours sharp. This time was already past the prime time for live broadcasts, but it didn't matter, because Lu Chen had already agreed with Qin Jinhao in the bar. From tomorrow onwards, his performance time would be pushed back to after 10:30 in the evening. This way, his live broadcast time on Whale TV would be fixed at 7 to 10 o'clock. 3 hours was just right. Although it would be very hard, in the short term, Lu Chen did not plan to give up on any of these areas. Whale TV, could allow him to earn a lot of money and popularity, and Forget Grass Bar could help him expand his circle of contacts, as well as give him more opportunities. Time flowed by like water, and Lu Chen returned to his usual routine. He woke up at 6 o'clock sharp in the morning, washed up, and then went out for a run. After tossing himself around until he was exhausted, he dragged his tired body back home. After lunch, he organized the information in his memory. For dinner, he went to a buffet. The price of the buffet was not cheap, but for Lu Chen's growing appetite, it was the most cost-effective, and he could afford it now. At 7 o'clock in the evening, work began. In Whale TV, or in other words, in the network broadcasting industry, Lu Chen was a complete newcomer. However, his performance in the live broadcast room was completely unlike that of a newcomer. This was because Lu Chen could use a clean and clear voice to sing lyrical ballads, or he could use a slightly hoarse voice to roar light rock songs, or he could tell jokes that others had never heard before. Coupled with his humorous and vivid expressions, his fans were overjoyed. Su Bo, Mo Ran, Fong Mingyi, singer, actor, and freelancer, 3 experiences and memories from the dream world, were displayed in Lu Chen through the internet, making him have a different charm from others. Tian, Su Bo, Mo Ran, Fong Mingyi. No selling face, no fooling, no sensationalism, no swearing, no third-rate jokes. In the fixed 3-hour live broadcast time, Lu Chen has always treated the audience and fans seriously. To be continued. Attitude determined everything. Some people watched Lu Chen's live broadcast and left without paying attention, but more and more people stayed and became the fish fans of Lu Fei's live broadcast room. Every day, they waited in front of the computer for him to start on time. Because everyone liked Lu Chen's playing and singing, they liked his jokes, and they liked interacting with him even more. Lu Chen's popularity in Whale TV continued to accumulate over time. The most important thing was that after the number of Lu Fei followers broke through the 50,000 mark, it continued to increase for a few days, reaching 70,000, 100,000. The highest number of online viewers was 150,000 plus, and the average number of daily donations was 3T plus. Although the growth in popularity has been greatly reduced after the newcomer recommendation, Lu Chen's goal has been aimed at the real popular anchors in Whale TV. Peter can replace them. Youth was just right, so it was time to go against the current. Chapter 32. May 23rd, Saturday, sunny. The sky looked as if it had just been washed. It was unbelievably clean. The pure blue screen didn't have any white clouds smeared on it. It felt very unreal. Even though Jing City had vigorously cleaned up the environment and got rid of the title of Haze City, this kind of blue sky was rarely seen. People couldn't help but feel happy. Although it wasn't the hottest season yet, the girls in the city had already changed into beautiful summer clothes. Short skirts fluttered on the streets, willfully showing off their long legs and youth. Di Chen. Li Feiyu carried his leather suitcase and ran over while panting. He shouted at Lu Chen, who was standing on the roadside admiring the scenery, "Let's go quickly. If we're late, our spot might be taken by someone else." Di Chen was Peter Pan's new name for Lu Chen. Originally, he had always called Lu Chen Big Singer, Xiao Lu, and Brother. Now that he considered Lu Chen's identity was different from before, after careful consideration, he finally decided on this name that he thought was very meaningful. According to Li Feiyu, people with status were all called De or Grandpa. Lu Chen currently couldn't reach the level of Grandpa, but De wasn't a problem. Others wouldn't look down on him if he called him De. Lu Chen, Lu Chen. Calling him De didn't sound good and was easy to misunderstand. Thus, he called him De Chin. Lu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Helplessly, Li Feiyu's mouth was the mouth of a salesman. The mouth of a salesman was known as one of the 7 weapons in the workplace. how could Lu Chen win? Thus, he could only let it be. I've already said it 3 times. Our spot is fixed. Lu Chen was helpless. It won't be snatched away by others. It's a bit too early to go over now. Tonight, Hohai's Blue Lotus Bar will be holding a music festival. The main sponsor is Light Rain Media. It's said that the scale of the event is very large and it's the grandest one in history. Quite a few people from the industry have been invited. Lu Chen was also one of the invited singers. When Blue Lotus asked him if he had any requests, he thought about it and asked for a VIP seat. At the same time, he hoped that Blue Lotus would allow him to broadcast the music night live. That's right, tonight's program in Lu Fei's studio was Light Blue Music Night. This idea was born when Qin Jinhao told Lu Chen about the invitation. Nowadays, the content of online live broadcasts was getting richer and richer. Sitting in front of the computer every day, it was easy for the audience and fans to get tired of it. Therefore, it was necessary to come up with something new. His performance on stage at Light Blue Music Night was undoubtedly an excellent gimmick. In order to achieve his goal, Lu Chen didn't hesitate to tell Blue Lotus that he could give up his performance fee. He believed that the tips from the fish fans would be enough to make up for the loss. However, they were very generous. Not only did they agree to all of Lu Chen's requests, they also didn't give a single cent less. Blue Lotus Music Night never restricted recording. They would even take the initiative to post the live video on the internet for others to watch in order to increase the influence of the event. As a result, Lu Chen smoothly obtained a VIP seat. He didn't sit in this seat and gave it to Li Feiyu. Because doing a live broadcast required someone to help, Peter Pan was naturally the most suitable and the only candidate. When Li Feiyu found out, he was extremely happy. He started preparing 2 days in advance. In reality, outdoor live broadcasts were very simple. A 4G smartphone could be used to complete it. Li Feiyu wasn't careless at all. Aside from the high-definition camera and high-quality microphone, he also bought a tripod, camera box, sound filter, and other equipment. Of course, these things were all paid for by Lu Chen. He would still need them in the future. Don't be late. Go early and prepare early. Li Fei laughed and said, I've heard people talk about Blue Lotus Music Festival a long time ago. It's very lively. Little May has been there before. This time, I was a VIP and told her about it live. She said she'll watch it tonight in our broadcast room. As he spoke, he was beaming with joy. He unknowingly revealed his tale. Lu Chen curiously asked, didn't Little May resign? Are you still in contact with her? Little May was the receptionist at the 4S store that Li Feiyu worked at. She was beautiful and had many pursuers. Li Feiyu was one of them. Speaking of which, when Li Feiyu started broadcasting, it was because of Little May's influence. It was said that Little May earned tens of thousands of yuan every month. She even decided to quit her job at the 4S store and become a professional broadcaster. Don't mention it. Li Feiyu regretfully said, Little May's broadcast room violated the rules and was banned. She didn't resign. Although his tone was regretful, his face didn't have the slightest bit of regret. Instead, he looked very happy. Lu Chen couldn't help but laugh. He didn't say anything. Little May, who he had never met before, was clearly not a good match. However, since Li Feiyu liked her, he couldn't say anything. Taxi! Li Feiyu waved his hand and stopped a taxi that just passed by. The two of them rushed to Hohai. The taxi drivers in Beijing were all familiar with the area. After saying the address, they quickly pulled them to the parking lot outside of Blue Lotus Bar. Blue Lotus Bar's predecessor was a small factory. Later, after the transformation of the city, it became its current layout. In front of the bar was a bustling pedestrian street. Behind it was a rippling artificial lake. Unlike Forget Grass Bar, Blue Lotus Bar's parking lot was connected to a two-lane asphalt road. Therefore, it was very convenient to enter and exit. Whether it was a normal day or a holiday, there were no empty seats if you went late. Business was booming. What made people most envious was that the owner of Blue Lotus Bar, Chong Wei, bought a large house, an even larger parking lot, and the land. If he washed his hands of this business and sold it, he wouldn't be able to spend it all in 3 lifetimes. However, Chong Wei never had this kind of thought. He always diligently ran his own bar and had a heroic spirit. When people in the industry talked about him, they all gave him a thumbs up. The music festival started at 7 p.m. It wasn't even 5 p.m. yet, but there were already many people like the two of them who came early. Some of them were in the same industry as Lu Qin, but most of them were the audience. The venue and stage had already been set up. There were lights, sound systems, and large LED screens. Many staff members were busy making final adjustments and maintaining order. After getting out of the car at the intersection, Li Feiyu's eyes stared straight. F***CK, this is simply a concert. The parking lot was large enough. Even if a part of it was used as a stage, it wouldn't be a problem to accommodate 2,000 to 3,000 audience members. In all of Hohai, this was the only place that had the ability to host such a large event. Excuse me, are you two here to participate in the performance? A staff member walked over and politely asked. Yes. Lu Chen took out his ID card and VIP ticket for the staff member to examine. The Blue Lotus Music Festival had already been held many times and had always been very formal. Without an ID card or an audience ticket, you wouldn't be able to enter. He even noticed that there was a blue and white police car parked not far away. It should have been sent by the local police station. After the staff member examined the ID card and ticket, he said, "Please follow me." Under the guidance of the staff member, Lu Chen and Li Feiyu passed through the parking lot and entered the Blue Lotus Bar. The layout and decoration of the Blue Lotus Bar was undoubtedly much more extravagant than Forget Worries Bar. Just the wavy bar counter alone was more than twice the length of Forget Worries Bar. The wine racks were filled with a dazzling lineup of alcohol. Upside-down glass cups were shining brightly under the illumination of the lights. The bar was divided into upper, middle, and lower floors. The T-shaped stage was very international in style and the large screen was at least 500 inches wide. The cleverly arranged lighting and sound equipment made people gasp in amazement. Because the event was going to be held at night, the inside of the bar wasn't open for business. The hall on the bottom floor was used as a temporary backstage area with different sections for the singers and bands that came to participate in the performance. The Forget Grass Bar's location was on the right side of the bar counter. 3 wine tables were put together to form a long table. The space given wasn't small. Of course, Lu Chen wasn't the only one representing Forget Grass Bar on stage. However, the members of the Bionics and Sister Na hadn't arrived yet. There weren't many singers from other bars either. After Lu Chen put away his guitar, he and Li Feiyu went to the VIP area on the second floor. Chapter 33. The so-called VIP area was actually the open-air balcony outside the middle and upper floors of the bar. A row of 10 or so tables with umbrellas were arranged, overlooking the entire parking lot. The line of sight was undoubtedly the best. Compared to tiptoeing to watch the performance below, sitting here was much more comfortable. The VIP seat that Blue Lotus Bar provided for Lu Chen was very good. It was table number 5 near the center. However, the waiter who brought them up said that because there were too many customers, they needed to share a table with others and couldn't enjoy it alone. Whether it was Lu Chen or Li Feiyu, neither of them had any objections. After the waiter left, Li Feiyu sat down on his seat. Both of his hands held the handles of the soft chair and twisted his body. Then, He picked up the iced peppermint water that was just delivered and took a sip. He narrowed his eyes and looked at the busy and nervous preparation of the stage. His expression was cool, really cool. Lu Chen opened the suitcase he brought and took out the tripod, computer, and other items. Let me do it. Li Feiyu had enough fun. He put the empty cup on the table and immediately jumped up. The preparation for the outdoor live broadcast was very simple. He just needed to connect the camera, microphone, filter, and laptop. The former was fixed on the tripod and he just needed to choose the angle to shoot and pick up the sound. He didn't need much professional ability. He just needed to turn on the computer and connect to the free Wi-Fi in the bar. In just a few minutes, he smoothly logged into the Whale TV live broadcast room. Dong Yao, I'm Dong Guai. Please respond if you hear me. Li Feiyu imitated the tone of the protagonist of a military drama and seriously shouted into the microphone, please respond. He shouted 3 times in one breath. Finally, there was a response on the screen. I hear you, pig. Damn, who is this? The voice is so ugly. Scary demonic sound. Huh? Why is the live broadcast starting now? Didn't they say there would be a live broadcast of the music carnival at 7 p.m.? It looks like it's a test. I can see the stage. It looks like a big scene. Where's Lu Feide? Where did the host go? Yeah, Li Feiyu laughed and turned the camera to face Lu Chen. Dang, the host that everyone wants, our Lu Feide is here, everyone welcome him. Lu Chen chuckled, waved at the camera and said, hello everyone, I'm Lu Fei. I'm testing the equipment now, and the live broadcast is still at 7 p.m. Don't miss it. The number of followers in Lu Fei's live broadcast had exceeded 120,000. There were not many people online, but when they saw Lu Chen, they were very enthusiastic, and comments quickly appeared on the screen. Other than greetings, everyone was most concerned about the situation of the live broadcast. Lu Chen patiently answered their questions, saying that he would definitely perform on the stage. As for what song he would sing, that needed to be kept a secret for the time being. He would definitely give everyone a surprise. I'm looking forward to it. Is it a new song? Actually, I still want to listen to you, my desk mate. I'll never get tired of it. Cinderella. 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 It's shameful to dominate the screen. Lu Feide, you can do it. Don't say anything. I cancelled my date with my girlfriend tonight. I'm waiting to see General Lu perform on stage. Isn't your girlfriend Miss Wu? Anyway, I'm going to bring her. Ha ha ha. The building is ask you again 000, alas. After chatting for a few minutes and seeing that the operation was normal, Lu Chen said goodbye to his fans and arranged to see them at 7 p.m. Li Gu, let's go eat first. Lu Chen looked at the time and saw that it was just after 5 p.m., so he closed the computer and said, I'll treat you to a beef brisket pot on the pedestrian street. It tastes great. Li Feiyu swallowed his saliva, touched his belly and said, I'm a little hungry. Let's go. What about the computer? Lu Chen didn't mind and said, leave it here. No one will steal it. There isn't any important information inside, right? The laptop was Li Feiyu's and it was also something that he had used for many years. If he gave it to those who could get a seat in the VIP area, they would probably think it was dirty. As for the microphone and camera, there was no need to even mention it. Li Feiyu laughed, there really is a lot of important information. 500 gigabytes of files. If we lose it, it would be a big loss. Lu Chen was speechless and quickly pulled this wretched guy out of the bar. After eating the fragrant pot of rice, it was almost 6 p.m. when they returned to the Blue Lotus. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. The lights were turned on, but there weren't many of them. Inside the performance venue, there were at least 1,000 people gathered. They sat on the small plastic stools provided by the bar. Many of them were couples leaning against each other and whispering to each other, making a group of single dogs blind. The music video was being played on the big screen on the stage. The sound was very soft and there weren't many busy staff members. Inside the bar, there were quite a few participating bands and singers. They were chatting, greeting each other, and drinking. Lu Chen found his seat, but the Bionics and Sister Na still didn't appear. Instead, there was a piece of paper on the table. Looking at the bold title, it should be the schedule for tonight's performance. He didn't mind and said to Li Feiyu, "Li Gu, you go up first. Order whatever you want to drink and put it on my tab. Tonight's live broadcast depends on you. Don't worry." Li Feiyu patted his chest and said, "If I can't earn 5T, brother, I'll bring my head to see you." Lu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he sent off this guy who loved to show off. He took his place, and stretched out his hand for the list which lay on the table. In the Blue Lotus Music Carnival, other than sending out the bar's singers, they would also invite people of the same profession to participate. This performance didn't need to be rehearsed in advance. The performance time was arranged according to the number of bands and singers. The sound wasn't adjusted at the venue and the singers could also sing without plugging in their headphones. They would rely on their own strength to win the applause of the audience. Because Chang Wei was willing to spend money and had a wide network, the Blue Lotus Music Carnival became more and more famous. They could even invite famous singers to participate. Every time it was held, people in the entertainment circle would come to watch. Among them, there was no lack of executives and directors of entertainment companies. Therefore, the order of appearance was very important. Lu Chen wanted to see what position he was going to go on stage. Just as he picked up the schedule, 4 or 5 young people suddenly walked over. The leader was a young man around 20 years old. He was about 1.6 meters tall and had a trendy hairstyle. He had fair skin and a handsome appearance. He also wore a diamond earring on his left ear. His eyes were evil and his nose was pointed up. When this trendy man walked, the soles of his feet seemed to be equipped with springs, bouncing and bouncing. Then, the denim jacket that was decorated with metal plates on his body rattled, and a thick silver-plated chain hung from his waist to his trouser leg. He stood in front of Lu Chen and continuously chewed his gum. He asked, "Are you from Forget Worries Bar?" Lu Chen didn't like the other party's overbearing impoliteness. Therefore, he didn't stand up and faintly nodded his head. "You're called Lu Chen, right?" The trendy young man revealed a mocking smile and said, "I heard that you play the guitar pretty well and that you're quite arrogant. Now it seems that it's true. Do you know me?" Lu Chen calmly stood up and said in a deep voice, "So what if I know you? So what if I don't know you?" Lu Chen didn't like to cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it. Although he didn't know why the other party wanted to provoke him, it would be laughable if he swallowed his anger. The trendy young man suddenly jumped in fright and instinctively retreated 2 steps. Lu Chen's height exceeded 1.8 meters. In terms of height, he had an absolute advantage. Moreover, during this period of time, he had persevered in training. Although he didn't have the muscles of a strong man, he had his own strength and imposing manner. Both sides faced each other, and Lu Chen completely crushed his opponent. Noticing the faint smile on Lu Chen's face, the trendy young man realized that he had made a fool of himself. He was incomparably embarrassed and shouted, "What? Do you want to fight?" The companions that followed him all revealed unfriendly expressions. Lu Chen indifferently smiled and said, "Fight? If it was outside, I would accompany you at any time, but not here." This was Blue Lotus Bar, the territory of Big Boss Chong Wei. Who would dare to fight here? At least you're tactful. Many people in the surrounding area noticed the commotion and looked over. The trendy young man didn't dare to continue causing trouble. He put on a strong front and roared, "We'll wait and see. There will be a time for you to cry." He left with his companions. After walking a few steps, he suddenly turned his head and raised his hand to make a throat-slitting gesture at Lu Qin. This brat. Lu Qin was so angry that he laughed. Whose house is this? Chapter 34. Lu Qin was puzzled. Suddenly, someone patted his shoulder. He instinctively turned his head and saw that Sister Na had appeared behind him without him knowing. Qin Hanyang and the other 4 members of the Bionics were also there. Lu Qin couldn't help but feel a burst of joy. "Sister Na, Brother Qin, you're both here." "I'm here." Sister Na smiled. "I had something to do at the bar with De Qin. Fortunately, it's not too late." "You're early." Qin Hanyang nodded and suddenly asked, "Xiao Lu, do you know Little Qing?" "Little Qing?" Lu Qin was stunned. "Brother Qin, are you talking about that guy?" This time it was Qin Hanyang's turn to be surprised. "You really don't know him?" "That's Qing Xiaodong, the lead singer of the Fit Band. They're based at Flaming Rose. They're a very popular band recently." This was the first time Lu Qin heard of Qing Xiaodong's name, but he was familiar with Flaming Rose. Flaming Rose was a very famous bar in Sanlitun. It was very big and business was very good. It was said that Flaming Rose was first opened in Hohai. Because its management style was incompatible with Hohai's atmosphere, it moved to Sanlitun a few years ago. Everyone in the circle knew about it. Speaking of which, it was interesting to note that many of the bars in Hohai were named after flowers. For example, Blue Lotus, Daylily, Hyacinth, Dandelion, etc., which was different from the Sanlitun bars. Flaming Rose was the same. It didn't change its name after moving to Sanlitun. Lu Qin smiled bitterly. "I really don't know him. I haven't even been to Flaming Rose before. He suddenly came to find me." He didn't say that Qing Xiaodong was provoking him, but Qin Hanyang should have seen Qing Xiaodong's throat slit. Sister Na thoughtfully said, "Little Yi seems to be familiar with the Fit Band." Sister Na's reminder might be a bit vague, but Lu Qin understood it as soon as he heard it. Little Yi was Yi Xinyang, the resident singer of Daylily Bar. Qin Hanyang said, "Let's sit down first. We have to sing well tonight. This time we will be on stage for a long time." The Blue Lotus Music Carnival was extremely famous in the circle. Which singer in the bar didn't want to go on stage and try their luck? However, the duration of the performance was always limited, so there were often too many monks and not enough gruel. In the past, Forget Worries Bar singers had also appeared many times, but at most they were given 15 minutes of stage time. This year's Light Blue Music Night was the grandest, and it was sponsored by a new media company in the industry. Who knew how many people would break their heads just to get in? Forget Worries Bar was allocated 2 singers and a band, giving them a full 30 minutes. Even Qin Jinhao said that Boss Chang was giving him too much face. As for how the time was allocated, Blue Lotus didn't care. They only cared about the order in which the singers would appear. Everyone sat down around the table. Qin Hanyang said, "The performance is about to start. Let's allocate the time on stage first." Sister Na, who allocated the time, was very important. As the big brother of Forget Worries Bar, Qin Hanyang naturally wouldn't pass on this responsibility. However, he still had to respect Sister Na's opinion. Sister Na said, "I will only sing 1 song. Give me 5 minutes. Xiao Lu, give me 10 minutes. 2 songs. Under normal circumstances, the allocation of time on stage was based on the status of the industry. Qin Hanyang and Sister Na would both sing 2 songs, leaving 1 song for Lu Qin. A total of 5 songs and 30 minutes was just right. The duration of a song was usually around 4 minutes. After entering and exiting the stage and saying a few words, it would be done in 5 minutes. A single singer was enough, but the band was a bit more troublesome. So, half of the time was given to Qin Hanyang. However, Sister Na actually gave her time to sing a song for Lu Qin. This was really unexpected. Lu Qin quickly said, "Sister Na, 1 song is enough for me." Sister Na smiled and said, "How is 1 song enough? You, who sat next to me, and Cinderella. It would be a pity to have 1 less song. We should let everyone know that Forget Worries Bar has a talented singer. I will sing the song you wrote for me." Qin Hanyang actually nodded his head and said, "Sister Na is right. The song you wrote for her is very good." In Lu Chen's impression, Qin Hanyang was a serious singer. As the lead singer and leader of the Bionics, he spent most of his time in Forget Worries Bar with his band members. He would only come out when it was time to perform. Lu Qin had been working at Forget Grass Bar for 3 years. The number of times he had spoken to this big brother added up couldn't be compared to now. So, when he heard Qin Hanyang's praise, Lu Qin actually felt a little flattered. "It's my luck that I got to know Xiao Lu." Sister Na smiled happily and said, "Xiao Lu, this song of yours has already been arranged by Qin. Tonight, I will go on stage with the Bionics. They will accompany me. After that, the rest of the time is up to you." When it comes to arranging music, Lu Qin is really ashamed. Although he has countless classic works in his memory, and there is no problem in sorting out the melody notation, it is not enough to arrange a complete music again. The main reason was that Lu Qin lacked experience in this area. He also needed to learn and recharge. Otherwise, in the future, if he only knew how to write melodies and didn't know how to arrange songs, it would be easy to be criticized by others. No matter what, Sister Na insisted and Qin Hanyang didn't have any objections. The time given to Lu Qin for the 2 songs was set. The lead guitarist, bassist, drummer, and keyboardist of the Bionics all looked at Lu Qin with a "you lucky kid" expression, which made him feel very embarrassed. Qin Hanyang picked up the form on the table that Lu Qin had not seen yet, browsed it, and frowned. Sister Na was very sensitive. "What's wrong? Is there a problem?" Qin Hanyang shook his head and said, "There's no big problem. It's just that Xiao Lu isn't arranged to go on stage with us. In front of him is the Fit Band, behind him is the North Needle Band, and then it's our turn." In the past, singers from the same bar would be arranged to go on stage together. This was because many singers would be accompanied by their own band, such as Sister Na and the Bionics. But situations like Lu Chen's were deliberately separated were very rare. Sister Na didn't care. "Is this okay? Xiao Lu's level of playing and singing is most suitable for a solo performance." Qin Hanyang muttered, "I heard that the main purpose of this music festival is to promote the North Needle Band." The North Needle Band was formed 2 years ago. The band's lead singer, Gon Lang, was a very strong singer and was currently signed to the Blue Lotus Bar. The North Needle Band was famous for their light rock style and was much more famous than the Bionics. The news that Qin Hanyang received was that the North Needle Band had changed their contract to Light Rain Media. This music festival was held to promote the North Needle Band and would be officially announced at the end of the performance. Light Rain Media even invited a group of industry insiders and media reporters. Therefore, the North Needle Band's performance at night was the most important part of the festival. Lu Qin was in front of them, and the Fit Band was in front of him. No matter how you looked at it, it seemed like they were caught in a pincer attack. Qin Hanyang and Sister Na were both experienced and understood after a moment of analysis. Sister Na hesitated for a moment and said, Xiao Lu, do you want to change songs? The Fit Band and the North Needle Band were both rock bands. Their performances were definitely passionate and could easily stir up the emotions of the audience, which in turn ignited the atmosphere of the venue. If it was the Bionics in the middle, Qin Hanyang would be able to control the scene. But if everyone was excited and Lu Chen went up with a guitar and sang, You Who Sat Next to Me, or Cinderella, he would probably be booed off the stage after singing a few lines. The style was completely wrong. The audience who came to the music festival weren't fans of anyone. If they felt that the song wasn't good, they would just boo. Very few singers would be able to persist in such a humiliating situation. Qin Hanyang agreed, yes, change to a more energetic song. Our band will accompany you. The order of the lineup had already been set. Changing people on stage at the last minute was definitely not possible as it would be disrespectful to the organizers. However, there was no problem for the band to go on stage with the singer. With the support of the Bionics, Lu Chen's momentum would certainly not be bad. However, he could only give up on the two original songs. At this time, how could Lu Chen still not understand that he was being used as a stepping stone? No wonder the people from the Fit Band came to provoke him. Thank you Brother Qin, thank you Sister Na, but I think I can go on stage by myself. Lu Chen was very grateful for Qin Hanyang and Sister Na's kindness and reminder, but he didn't have any intention of backing down. Instead, his fighting spirit was completely aroused. Want to step on me? Then let's see who will step on who. Chapter 35. Lu Chen insisted on going on stage by himself. Qin Hanyang and Sister Na looked at each other and tacitly didn't try to persuade him. Because the two of them were young and hot-blooded, they struggled to resist oppression and injustice. No matter if the result was success or failure, they still tried their best. So they understood Lu Chen's insistence and didn't want to use their status as a senior to teach Lu Chen a lesson, even if it was out of good intentions. There are no failures in youth. Only by experiencing setbacks and failures can a person truly mature and grow up. Sister Na encouraged, good luck, we all support you. Qin Hanyang also nodded his head. However, the other four members of the Bionics had a strange expression on their faces. They looked at Lu Chen with a strange expression. From their point of view, Lu Chen simply didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He treated Brother Qin and Sister Na's good intentions as ill intent. If he went on stage like this, he would definitely suffer. They were afraid that he would be booed to the point where he couldn't even get off stage. The atmosphere of Blue Lotus Music Festival was definitely not something a bar could compare to. 2,000 to 3,000 people gathered together to shout and scream. The sound waves created could flip the roof. If one didn't have a strong mental fortitude, it would be too easy to lose face because of stage fright. If it wasn't for Qin Hanyang not saying anything, they all wanted to wake Lu Chen up. Who do you think you are? Lu Chen suddenly smiled and said, Sister Na, I prepared a new song today. Out of everyone present, Sister Na was undoubtedly the one who cared about him the most. So, Lu Chen didn't want to hide it anymore. He simply revealed his burden and said, I believe it won't make Forget Worries Bar lose face. Sister Na's eyes suddenly lit up, really? Since you're confident, then there's no problem. I believe in your ability. To be able to write such a good song for her, how could there be a problem when Lu Chen was prepared? From a certain point of view, Sister Na could now be considered Lu Chen's fan. Qin Hanyang's thoughts were a bit more complicated. Originally, he didn't have much of an impression of Lu Chen. Even though Lu Chen had worked at Forget Worries Bar for half a year, the two of them didn't talk much. It wasn't until she arranged the music for Sister Na that she realized there was such a talented young man by her side. However, Qin Hanyang believed that Lu Chen's two ballads were not as good as the song he wrote for Sister Na. Now that he heard Lu Chen say that he had written a new song, he felt very emotional in his heart. Qin Hanyang had been involved in music composition before, so he deeply understood the difficulty of originality and how difficult it was to come up with a good song. With just these 3 songs, Lu Chen was fully qualified to be ranked among the second-rate or even first-rate songwriters. Moreover, his desire to compose was so strong. If he could have a steady stream of fresh inspiration, it would not be a dream for him to achieve great things in the future. I hope so. Outside the French windows, the sky was already dark. All the lights in the performance venue were lit, and the bright light shone on the crowded crowd. The atmosphere was warm and noisy, making people feel like they were in the middle of summer. There was still half an hour before the official start of the Blue Sky Music Festival. The audience had basically all arrived. Young men and women sat on small plastic stools, chatting and laughing. There were also some who held up fluorescent signs and glow sticks. On the stage, the large LED screen flashed a blurry and illusory image. The drums, electronic organs, synthesizers, and other heavy equipment had already been set up, waiting for the band to come up and use it. According to the usual practice, the inconvenient instruments were provided by Blue Lotus Bar. Therefore, some of the band's drummers and keyboardists ran over in advance to try it out. Their actions caused the audience to clamor from time to time. And on the balcony of the top floor of Blue Lotus Bar, the atmosphere in the VIP area was undoubtedly a lot more relaxed. Immaculately dressed gentlemen and meticulously dressed ladies carried champagne or red wine. They gathered in groups of 2s and 3s to socialize. Uniformed waiters carried plates of refreshments and drinks. They walked through the crowd without looking sideways. Everything seemed to be orderly. Among them, the most eye-catching was a slender and graceful woman wearing a Prada summer dress. She was surrounded by many people like stars surrounding the moon. She became the focus of the audience. This woman wearing Prada had a delicate and beautiful appearance. Her fine black hair was tied into a bun and she used a pair of black titanium glasses to cover her enchanting almond-shaped eyes. Her jade-like face was lightly made up and her temperament was especially outstanding. Chief Dong, long time no see. Although she was surrounded by many people and they all flattered her, the woman who was called Chief Dong maintained a polite smile on her face. She politely responded to the greetings and intimacy of others. However, hidden behind the glasses, a trace of helplessness flashed through her eyes. This was the true expression of her inner feelings. Dong Yu, 27 years old, the general manager of Light Rain Media Company. She had just returned from overseas at the beginning of the year. Even if she had an extraordinary family background, it wasn't good for her to have a cold expression towards these men who were coveting, drooling, or admiring her. After all, in this line of work, networking was incomparably important. Fortunately, Su Qingmei appeared and rescued Dong Yu in time. The 2 sister partners hid in a corner and had a private chat. The men who couldn't find an opportunity could only resentfully retreat. I shouldn't have come tonight. Dong Yu opened her carry-on bag and skillfully took out a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. Then, she lit a mint cigarette and took a puff. She complained to Su Qingmei, "You left me here and ran away." She developed the habit of smoking when she was studying abroad. She didn't really like it, but when she was annoyed, she would light a cigarette and it could more or less relieve her mood. Su Qingmei smiled and said, "Aren't I here to save you now? It's also good to make more friends. You can't always shut yourself in the office. You'll be bored to death and become a perverted old virgin." Su Qingmei. Dong Yu extinguished the cigarette in the ashtray and glared at her with her almond-shaped eyes. "Have you been itching for a beating recently?" "I don't dare," Su Qingmei hurriedly begged for mercy. "Sister Yu, I know I was wrong. I just ran off to pick talents for the company. She pretended to be afraid and pitiful, which made Dongyu feel both angry and amused. But in his heart, he was thinking, such a beautiful and charming woman, who knows which bastard would end up taking advantage of her. Dongyu asked, "Did you find anything?" Su Qingmei pouted and said, "Nothing much. I'll see later." Dongyu's heart moved and she asked, "Didn't you unearth a promising newcomer from Brother Kenho last time? Why is there no news now?" Su Qingmei was stunned and asked in surprise, "Sister Yu, how did you know?" She had been snubbed by Lu Qin. How could she take the initiative to tell Dongyu? She didn't expect Dongyu to already know. She suddenly felt her teeth itch. She wanted to eat someone. Dongyu lightly laughed and said, "I heard you talk in your sleep. Is that person not suitable?" Light Rain Media Company was a joint venture between Dongyu and Su Qingmei. When they first opened, they didn't walk the path of unbridled poaching. Instead, they focused on cultivating and uncovering promising newcomers. For example, Blue Lotus North Needle, a band with great potential, was successfully signed by the company. Dongyu accidentally heard about Su Qingmei being snubbed by a newcomer, so she couldn't help but be curious. What kind of person could actually make this young miss hit a wall twice in a row? Therefore, she poked at Su Qingmei's sore spot and teased her, wanting to find out the truth. Su Qingmei grinded her teeth and said, "I won't talk in my sleep. However, Sister Yu, you will see that guy soon. I'm afraid you will be disappointed." Her face revealed a secretive smile, like a fox that just stole a hen. "Oh." Dongyu raised her eyebrows and said, "He will also go on stage tonight." "Yes." Su Qingmei forcefully nodded her head. She pulled Dongyu's hand and said, "Let's not talk about this. The performance is about to start. Let's go to Brother Chang's place. Tonight, he is the main character." It was already 6:50 in the evening. Light Rain Media and Blue Lotus Bar's Light Blue Night Music Carnival was about to begin. The first performing band had just stepped onto the stage. Chapter 36. It's starting, the performance is starting. So excited. So excited. So excited. So excited. So excited. Who can tell me when Lu Feida will go on stage? Same question, I also want to know. There are so many people, I really want to see it live, the feeling of being there is the best. The anchor is so powerful, he's going to have a concert. I'm deeply worried about the IQ of the child who is going to have a concert, waiting for the anchor to go on stage. At 7 p.m. sharp, the popularity of Lu Fei's live broadcast on Whale TV soared, the number of online viewers continued to skyrocket, and the momentum was so high that it reached the 100,000 mark. The growth rate was so high that people were simply stunned. A lot of Fish fans logged in at the right time, and the barrage filled the entire screen, making the live broadcast extremely lively. Because Lu Chen was going to perform on stage, Li Feiyu was the host of the live broadcast. Peter Pan had already started the live broadcast at 6 p.m. Relying on his silver-level, salesman's mouth, he fooled more than 20,000 fans and persisted until his popularity exploded. It was accompanied by a large number of fish ball tips, and the hardcore local tycoon Li Bai even threw 3 aircraft carriers. He said in a domineering manner that after Lu Chen went on stage, he would give out 7 more aircraft carriers, and give a perfect performance on stage. Then the number of people who wanted to hug his thigh would increase tenfold. Others who don't know the inside story, seeing such a noisy and enthusiastic scene, it is estimated that they will really think that Lu Chen is holding a solo concert in the evening, so everyone will be so excited and enthusiastic. Li Feiyu smiled crookedly, ignoring the strange gazes cast by the surrounding people. This was the scene of a music carnival, and it was a normal atmosphere to be noisy. So he wasn't worried that his live broadcast would affect others and bring shame to himself and Lu Qin. The more lively it was, the better. The lights around the performance venue were extinguished one by one, and the lights on the stage were fully turned on, focusing on the first Watchman band on stage. The scene gradually quieted down, waiting for them to start singing. The Watchman band, as the opening performer, was a legend in Hohai. The Watchmen was a national rock band that was founded 20 years ago and had persisted in pure rock for 20 years. National rock began in the early 1980s. At that time, under the influence of Western liberalism, domestic rock music began to sprout and develop, and new bands were born. By the end of the 1980s, it ushered in its heyday. At that time, there were as many as thousands of national rock bands, and many classics emerged. However, in the 1990s, with the rise of commercial pop music, pure rock suffered a serious market impact. Some rock singers followed the trend and took the initiative to change their overly personal and idealistic style, singing light rock or folk songs. However, there were also many rock singers who stubbornly defended the last position of national rock and refused to bow to the market. By now, national shake had already become a distant term, and only an extremely small number of people were still struggling bitterly. The Watchmen was such a band. When they were founded, the national rock scene had already declined, but relying on their firm belief and the support of a small number of fans, they persevered in the underground music circle of Hohai for 20 years. The Watchmen band had never been very popular, nor had they produced any works that the public was familiar with. They firmly believed that rock and roll would not die, and persisted in their ideals, so they won the respect of many people in the circle. Qinglan Music Carnival invited them to be the opening performers, which was also a sign of respect for their spirit. This was the best era for idealists, but also the worst era. The Watchmen band had a total of 4 members, with an average age of 40+. All of them were uncles, and the songs they sang were obviously not liked and appreciated by young people. To Live is Equal to Death, and A Bullet to the Chest, Lu Qin had never even heard of them. However, it was undeniable that their singing was full of vicissitudes of life. The passionate singing swept across the crowded venue, through the large format floor-to-ceiling glass outside the bar, and passed into the ears of everyone in the inner seats. Qin Hanyang suddenly said, "The lease of Nirvana Bar will end at the end of the year. I heard that it will be transferred out." His voice was bleak, and there was a trace of sadness. Sister Na was stunned, and then came to her senses. What about Big Mai and the others? Nirvana Bar was the territory of the Watchmen band, and was also a member of the underground music circle in Hohai. The owner of the bar was a true lover of rock and roll. Without his support, the Watchmen band would not be able to last until today. The Big Mai, that Sister Na said, was the lead singer and soul of the Watchmen band, Mai Tian, a rock and roll veteran. "What else can we do?" Qin Hanyang said, "other than Nirvana Bar, which bar can give them a place to sing, we can only disband." Nirvana Bar was an old brand in Hohai, but it never made much money. As for the reason, everyone knew. Now that Nirvana Bar was about to close, the Watchmen band naturally followed suit. He said with flagging interest, "It's good that they disband. Big Mai and the others are already in their 40s, they should spend more time on their own lives, and find a stable job that can make money, such as going to a music school to be an instrument teacher." As he spoke, he smiled bitterly. Qin Hanyang laughed at the Watchmen band, but in fact, he was laughing at himself. Every circle has a pyramid structure, and below the winner are countless stepping stones. The Watchmen band struggled to survive at the bottom, and the Bionics were the same. Sister Na was silent. On this topic, Lu Qin had nothing to say. When the Watchmen band was formed, he had just learned how to walk and didn't know much about rock and roll music. But in his memory, there were a lot of rock and roll classics in the dream world. Qin Hanyang raised his beer glass and said with emotion, "We are all behind the times, the future world belongs to young people like Xiao Lu, let's all drink to him." Cheers! Who wouldn't give him face when he spoke? Everyone in the room raised their glasses together. Whether it was a toast to Lu Qin, or a toast to the dying rock and roll, perhaps only everyone knew. Lu Qin quickly said, "Big brother Qin, you and sister Na are not behind the times, I'll drink first." He drank the beer in his glass in one gulp. This made the other 4 members of the Bionics have a better impression of Lu Qin, they respected their seniors. On the big stage outside, the Watchman Band had just finished their performance. As expected, the 2 original works that they brought out did not resonate with the audience. The complex structure, obscure lyrics, and cathartic emotions made it difficult for the audience to understand. Finally, the intense rhythm and roars more or less brought up the atmosphere, and many people were waving glow sticks. The band and singer that came on stage were much smarter. They didn't play any independent original works, but directly covered popular songs that everyone was familiar with, light rock, rap, fast songs. It brought about wave after wave of popularity. More than 2,000 people in the audience all stood up. They raised their arms and swayed with the surging rhythm of the music, or sang in unison in response to the performance on the stage. Cheers, shouts, and screams rose one after another, and there was even a loud whistle in the midst of it. This kind of atmosphere could only be felt live, it was completely different from in front of the screen. Lu Chen's phone suddenly rang. The caller was Li Feiyu, who was doing the live broadcast. He called to ask Lu Chen's exact appearance time. "Everyone is anxiously waiting for you, the voice of the people is extremely strong." Lu Chen smiled and said, "In half an hour, it should be my turn to go on stage. Apologize to everyone for me." After hanging up the phone, Sister Na curiously asked, "You have friends that came to watch?" Lu Chen had to briefly explain the matter of his live broadcast. "This is very interesting." Sister Na's eyes lit up and said, "I know, it's very popular on the internet. In fact, you can do a live broadcast in our bar, and at the same time help Forget Worries bar gain some fame." Lu Chen really did have this idea. He was about to answer when he saw a staff rushing over, waving the form in his hand and said, "Fit Band, and Forget Worries bar's teacher Lu Chen, please go backstage to prepare." Chapter 37. This was the first time Lu Chen had been called a teacher. Of course, it wasn't a real teacher that taught and educated people. Instead, it was an elegant title given to those who had made their debut earlier or those who already had a reputation in the entertainment industry. It was suitable for both men and women. The Blue Lotus Music Festival had been held many times and was very influential in Hohai's small circle. Those who were able to perform on stage weren't ordinary people. In comparison, Lu Chen's qualifications were the lowest. So when he heard the title, teacher, he was a little embarrassed. Sister Na stood up and said, "Great Qin, I'll be going first." She was still worried for Lu Chen. After all, he had to face thousands of people tonight. Going early was to support Lu Chen and at least let Lu Chen know that he wasn't alone. Qin Hanyang hesitated for a moment and also stood up. "If you want to go, then let's go together. We're all family." Lu Chen understood their intentions and gratefully said, "Thank you brother Qin, thank you sister Na." "No need to be so polite," Qin Hanyang reached out and patted his shoulder. "You have real talent, so you should be more confident." Lu Chen silently nodded. What Qin Hanyang said was right. He should be more confident. With 3 rich life memories and a world of spiritual wealth, he was no longer the original him. Lu Chen didn't fear any challenges. He couldn't help but look at the Fit Band not far away. Coincidentally, the lead singer of the band, Qing Xiaodong, turned his head and their gazes collided in the air. It was as if an invisible flame was shining. Qing Xiaodong's lips curved into a mocking smile as he disdainfully laughed with his companion. Lu Qin didn't get angry. He picked up his guitar case and went backstage. He would use his singing to fight back. The backstage was on the left side of the stage. It was used by the band and singers. Because the space wasn't big, only when it was almost time would the staff come to take attendance. When Lu Chen, Sister Na, and the Bionics arrived backstage, there were already a lot of people there. This also included the Fit Band. Qing Xiaodong saw Qin Hanyang and the others walk in but didn't pay attention to them. Instead, he just chatted and laughed with his friends. Great Qin, Sister Na, a man in a jacket in his 30s stood up and smiled. You guys came so early. His figure was slender, his cheeks were reserved, his cheekbones were high, and his eyes were bright and full of expression. His messy long hair draped over his shoulders, making him look a bit like a down-and-out artist. He was a common sight in Songzhuang village in Tongzhou. Qin Hanyang shook his hand and gave him a big hug. Then he introduced him to Lu Qin. This is Big Brother Gan Lang, and this is our little brother, Lu Qin. Lu Qin was neither humble nor arrogant as he extended his hand. Big Brother Gan Lang. Gan Lang shook his hand and smiled. I saw you at Forget Worries Bar. Your 2 original ballads were good. The fact that the lead singer of the North Needle Band had seen Lu Qin perform at Forget Worries Bar surprised Lu Qin. Thank you, please give me some pointers, Big Brother Gan. I don't dare to give pointers, but I don't have the ability to create original songs. Gan Lang asked seriously, Xiao Lu, are you going to sing those 2 songs tonight? Lu Qin shook his head and said, no. That's right. Gan Lang said, the style of your 2 ballads isn't suitable for a live performance. Something else would be better. Lu Qin smiled and didn't say anything. His mind was very sharp, he could hear the meaning behind the other's words. The lead singer of the North Needle Band might have a straightforward personality, but under his generous appearance, there was a deep arrogance. He bluntly reminded Lu Qin that he wasn't really thinking about Lu Qin, but that he didn't want to win too easily. Or maybe it was too easy. Gan Lang continued to chat with Sister Na while Qing Xiaodong looked at Lu Qin with a gloating expression. Lu Qin calmly found a seat in the corner of the backstage, took out his guitar and began to tune it. Warm applause and cheers could be heard from outside as the band's performance was coming to an end. The staff came in and told the band to get ready to go on stage. Qing Xiaodong immediately jumped up and jumped twice on the spot. The shiny accessories on his body clattered noisily. Brothers, let's go. Before leaving, he glanced at Lu Qin again, his eyes full of provocation. The appearance of the Fit Band caused quite a stir in the audience. Dozens of boys and girls were holding up fluorescent signs with the words, Fei Du, and Qing Xiaodong written on them. They were shouting each other's names in unison. They were so excited that they looked like they were about to cry. Qing Xiaodong held his electric guitar in his right hand as he raised his left hand and waved at the fans. Good evening everyone, I'm very happy to be able to participate in the light blue night. I am Qing Xiaodong from the Fit Band. Qing Cheng. Qing Cheng. Qing Cheng. Many female fans screamed as they desperately waved the fluorescent sticks in their hands. This Fit Band seems to be very popular. In the VIP seats on the top floor of the Blue Lotus Bar, Dong Yu whispered to Su Qingmei who was sitting next to her, have you ever thought of poaching them? Light Rain Media had only been established for a short period of time. The job of recruiting artists had always been done by Su Qingmei. Su Qingmei bitterly said, the Fit Band has already been poached by other companies. The other party's offer was much better than ours, so I gave up because the price was too high. Dong Yu nodded in understanding. She had set a stable development path for Light Rain Media. She didn't seek to reach the sky in one step, but rather to slowly consolidate the foundation. She wanted to accumulate enough experience and strength before she planned to break out. Therefore, in the beginning, they wouldn't spend too much money to sign new people. There were a lot of people sitting around Su Qingmei and Dong Yu. Chang Wei and Qin Jinhao were both there. There were also famous people in the entertainment circle such as entertainment company executives, music website editors, songwriters, and professional music critics. The lineup was quite strong. Chang Wei turned to Qin Jinhao and smiled, "Old Qin, after the Fit Band's performance, it will be your Xiao Lu's turn." Qin Jinhao smiled bitterly, "Boss Chang, who arranged the order of appearance this time?" Qin Jinhao had many years of experience. How could he not see the trick in the order of appearance? Previously, he didn't say anything. Now that Chang Wei mentioned it, he took the opportunity to ask. He believed that Chang Wei wouldn't do such a thing. Chang Wei laughed and said, "This matter, you have to ask your own family. I can't do anything about it." Although he had already guessed it, now that he had confirmed it, Qin Jinhao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Su Qingmei was his cousin. Wasn't she his family? Chang Wei understood his feelings and comforted him. In fact, it's a small matter. It's good for young people to hone themselves. Qin Jinhao was speechless. At this moment, on the stage, the Fit Band had just finished performing a famous rap song. Qing Xiaodong sang and danced very hard. He easily stirred up the emotions of the audience. Waves of cheers came one after another, showing his talent and strength. The band's lead singer shook his hair and raised the electric guitar in his hand. He loudly said, "The next song is dedicated to the audience. It's called Transcendence. Let us surpass ourselves." As soon as his voice fell, the cheers from the audience suddenly increased by dozens of decibels. Ching ching. Several female fans excitedly squeezed out of the crowd and wanted to rush to the stage. However, they were stopped by the security guards. Qing Xiaodong put down the electric guitar and bowed his head. He arched his body and suddenly plucked the steel string. An intense prelude sounded. Transcendence. Qin Hanyang and Sister Na, who were sitting backstage, looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. Transcendence was a classic rock song. It was very popular in the 1990s, but it was very difficult to sing it, especially the high notes. Many people sang it until they were out of breath, to the point where they could not sing it without dropping it. Qing Xiaodong actually dared to challenge Transcendence on stage. There was no doubt that he was very confident. The two couldn't help but worry for Lu Qin. His opponent was very strong. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.